Chapter 85. Seeing the group move forward, Emo Chingyun and the rest did not hesitate and walked into the crowd. Seeing Emo Chingyun walk into the group, Emo Tsang's face darkened. He unconsciously sensed Emo Chingyun's cultivation. Peak of Body Tempering Stage 10. After learning about Emo Chingyun's cultivation, Emo Tsang was shocked at first. He was surprised by Emo Chingyun's progress. He didn't expect Emo Chingyun to improve so quickly even though he hadn't entered the spiritual hall to cultivate. After a brief moment of surprise, the corner of Emo Tsang's mouth twitched as he sneered. Emo Chingyun, I remember during the family competition, you seemed to have said that your cultivation would definitely enter the true Qi realm by the time the town assembly arrives, right? What does that have to do with you? Emo Chingyun looked at Emo Tsang with disdain and asked in return. It has nothing to do with me. It's just that I can't stand some people who like to boast. Emo Tsang had a mocking expression on his face as he said, Your current cultivation should be at the peak of tempered body 10th stage. The gap between this and the true energy realm is not small. With your cultivation, don't embarrass the Emo clan during the town meeting and drag everyone down. Boast? Drag everyone down? Seeing that Emo Tsang thought that he was only at the peak of body tempering stage 10, Emo Chingyun smiled playfully and said, It's hard to say who will drag everyone down. True strength is not based on the surface. Some people are no different from trash even if their cultivation breaks through to the peak of body tempering stage 10. The person Emo Chingyun was referring to was naturally Emo Tsang. Emo Tsang's cultivation was originally at the half-step true energy realm. After entering the spiritual hall to cultivate, his cultivation improved by leaps and bounds. In a short 2 months, not only did his cultivation break through to the true energy realm, but it also reached the peak of body tempering stage 10. It was also because of this that Emo Tsang felt proud in his heart, as if he was a crane in a flock of chickens. What a sharp tongue! Hearing this, Emo Tsang's face darkened and he raised his hand to attack Emo Chingyun. He said coldly, Looks like I have to show you my strength. Now I'll show you the difference between the true energy realm and the body tempering stage. Ghost Tiger Claw. Once Emo Chingyun attacked, he did not hold back his strength and clawed at Emo Chingyun. Looking at Emo Tsang's current stance, he intended to cripple Emo Chingyun with a single attack. This showed how much Emo Tsang hated Emo Chingyun. When Emo Hong Tian and the others sensed the commotion behind them, their expressions changed. They turned around and looked behind them. Emo Tsang, stop! When Emo Tsang was Emo Chingyun's, Emo Tsang's sex, Emo. The suppressing assembly was about to begin, and now Emo Tsang had actually made a move against Emo Chingyun. They were fighting among themselves. This behavior was too stupid. If one of them was injured between him and Emo Chingyun, it would weaken the overall strength of the younger generation of the Emo family. After all, he and Emo Chingyun were the main figures in the younger generation of the Emo family. If both of them were injured, the Emo family would not be able to compete with the other families in the town meeting. At this moment, Emo Tsang had already decided to teach Emo Chingyun a lesson. Hence, after hearing the elder's words, he did not stop and continued to attack Emo Chingyun. Seeing that Emo Tsang did not stop, some elders did not dare to hesitate and immediately moved to stop Emo Tsang. Scram! At this moment, Emo Chingyun's face darkened as he faced Emo Tsang's sudden attack. He raised his hand to receive the attack. Bang! Then, the crowd saw the previously intimidating Emo Tsang being sent flying by Emo Chingyun's punch like a dead dog. After Emo Chingyun's attack, Emo Tsang spat out a mouthful of blood and his face turned pale. One attack. Emo Tsang, who was at the peak of the first level of the true energy realm, was heavily injured by Emo Chingyun. At this moment everyone was dumbfounded. This outcome greatly exceeded their expectations. Wasn't Emo Chingyun only at the peak of the 10th level of the body tempering realm? Since when could a body-tempering realm martial artist be so awesome that he could easily crush a true energy realm martial artist? According to their imaginations, the outcome should have been the other way around. It should not have been like this. Trash will always be trash. Even after breaking through to the true energy realm, it's still the same. Emo Qingyun glanced at Emotsang, who was lying on the ground, and curled his lips in disdain. He shook his head and said, Emotsang, you're too weak. Too weak. After Emo Qingyun said this, the expressions of the surrounding people changed again, and they all laughed bitterly. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Emotsang's face instantly flushed red. He looked at Emo Qingyun with a face full of anger and said while gnashing his teeth, You hid your cultivation. Your cultivation is not at the peak of the 10th level of the body-tempering realm. Emo Qingyun hid his cultivation again? After Emotsang said this, the expressions of the crowd changed again, and they all looked at Emo Qingyun with a bitter smile. Emo Qingyun could still hide his cultivation? Every time he pretended to be a pig to eat the tiger. What was even more unacceptable to them was that Emotsang was like an idiot and actually bumped into him every time. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Did I say that my cultivation is at the peak of the 10th level of the body-tempering realm? Emo Qingyun looked at Emotsang mockingly and said disdainfully, Do you think that everyone is like you? Not having much ability, yet you're so arrogant and condescending. If I were to use a phrase to describe you, it would be a full bucket of water makes no noise, but a half bucket of water makes a noise. After he finished speaking, Emo Qingyun unsealed some of his cultivation under the gazes of the crowd and Emo Qingyun. After a while, the aura on Emo Qingyun's body quickly rose and reached the true energy realm in the blink of an eye. True energy realm. Emo Qingyun's cultivation had actually reached the true energy realm. Feeling the aura on Emo Qingyun's body, everyone was shocked. Of course, besides the shock, their hearts were also filled with joy. Emo Qingyun's cultivation was at the true energy realm. This meant that the overall strength of the younger generation in the Emo family had risen to another level, and they would have a greater advantage in the town council. Good, very good. At this moment, seeing Emo Qingyun's true energy realm cultivation, Emo Hongtian's face was filled with ecstasy and he cheered in relief. With such a grandson, what more could he ask for? This kid is hiding his strength again. He's always like this, making people worried and surprised at the same time. Emo Xian rolled her eyes at Emo Qingyun, but her face was also filled with joy. I knew it. How could Qingyun not have broken through to the true energy realm? I guessed it right again. Emo Xiao smiled and winked at Emo Ling beside him. Seeing this, Emo Ling also smiled sweetly. This kid, Emo Faping and Emo Yuru looked at each other and shook their heads in joy. At this moment, under everyone's gaze, Emo Qingyun said to Emotsang again, Even with the help of the spiritual hall, you're only at the peak of LV1 true energy realm. I really don't know what you have to show off. With your strength, don't drag everyone down in the town council. After saying this disdainfully to Emotsang, Emo Qingyun turned around and walked forward, ignoring the dazed Emotsang. Don't drag everyone down? Wasn't this what he had said to Emo Qingyun earlier? Now, in just a short moment, Emo Qingyun had returned the exact same words to him, but he could not refute it. At this moment, Emotsang's heart was filled with bitterness and a strong sense of defeat grew in his heart. All right, let's continue on our way. Seeing that the time had come to an end, Emo Hongtian waved his hand at the crowd, indicating that they should continue on their way. Hearing Emo Hongtian's words, the crowd no longer hesitated and continued on their way. However, at this moment, the way the crowd looked at Emo Qingyun had changed. This youth had surprised them again at this moment. Chapter 86. The ancestral tomb was located in a secluded mountain range a few miles outside of northern desert town. About 2 hours later, Emo Qingyun and the rest arrived at the ancestral tomb. By the time the people from the Mo clan arrived, some of the other clans had already arrived. Brother Hong Tian, your Mo clan is late this time. Some of the other clans greeted Mo Hong Tian when they saw him arrive. Mo Hong Tian smiled faintly and replied courteously to the crowd's greetings. Soon, the Song clan and He clan members walked towards the Mo clan members. As the Song clan members approached, Song Zihao walked out from the crowd and stood in front of Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun, I heard that you're now the #1 junior in the Mo clan? Song Zihao's face was full of mockery as he said this. He shook his head in disappointment and said, the Mo clan is one of the 3 major clans in northern Desert Town. I didn't expect that the #1 junior in the Mo clan this year would only be at the peak of body tempering stage 10. How disappointing. It's enough to deal with you, Mo Qingyun said calmly. Humph. Aren't you afraid of slapping your own tongue? Just as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, Song Shiyun, who was beside Song Zihao, revealed a disdainful expression and said, Mo Qingyun, there's no harm in telling you that my big brother is now at the 3rd level of the True Energy Realm. True Energy Realm LV3. After Song Shiyun said this, the expressions of the surrounding people changed. They were shocked by Song Zihao's cultivation. Under normal circumstances, it was already considered good if there were 1 or 2 juniors at the True Energy Realm in the town meeting every year. They didn't expect Song Zihao's cultivation to have reached True Energy Realm LV3. This was too strong. Because of this, the elders of the surrounding clans looked at the Song family with eyes full of envy. The Song clan was really lucky to have a junior like Song Zihao. At this moment, many people believed that if there were no accidents, the Song clan would definitely take first place in this town meeting. Under everyone's shocked gazes, Song Zihao proudly raised his head and proudly said, Mo Qingyun, do you still think you can deal with me now? Song Zihao continued, your improvement has indeed surprised me. But even so, you are still not worth mentioning in front of me. After entering the ancestral tomb, you'd better pray that I don't meet you. Otherwise, I don't mind teaching you a lesson again. At the end of his speech, Song Zihao deliberately emphasized the word teach. Clearly, his intention was not as simple as just teaching him a lesson. When Song Zihao finished speaking, Song Shiyun, who was beside him, said proudly, Mo Qingyun, are you regretting saying such ignorant words just now? Regret. Mo Qingyun narrowed his eyes and looked at Song Zihao, then looked at Song Shiyun and said playfully, you're only at the 3rd level of the True Energy Realm. Most of the time, a person's true strength can't be determined by their cultivation on the surface. When Mo Qingyun said these words, the expressions of the younger generation of the Mo clan unconsciously changed. Especially Mo Tsang, his face seemed to flush red as he faintly felt a sense of humiliation. Haha! Mo Qingyun, you really know how to joke. When he heard Mo Qingyun's words, Song Zihao immediately laughed heartily and said, don't tell me you think that with your cultivation at the peak of the 10th level of the body tempering realm, you still have the ability to retaliate in front of me. Whether I have the ability to retaliate or not, we'll know when the time comes. Mo Qingyun indifferently replied Song Zihao. He smiled playfully and said, also, let me tell you, I'm a very vengeful person. What you gave me in the past, I'll definitely return it to you in the town meeting. You'd better not let me meet you in the ancestral tomb. When he said these words, a cold light flashed across Mo Qingyun's eyes. When he was reborn, he had sworn an oath that he would avenge his predecessor. Therefore, this Song Zihao had to die. If Mo Qingyun were to meet Song Zihao in the ancestral tomb, he would definitely kill him. Fine, I'd like to see how you're going to take revenge on me. Song Zihao laughed coldly and confronted Mo Qingyun. In an instant, a strong smell of fire spread out between Mo Qingyun and Song Zihao. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun and Song Zihao were talking, all the clans had arrived. Seeing that all the clans had arrived, Mo Hongtian, He Qianxing, and Song Su walked out and said, since everyone is here, let's start the ancestral worshipping ceremony. After a while, various items for worshipping the ancestors were brought out one after another. Around an hour later, the ancestral worshipping ceremony came to an end. After the ancestral worshipping ceremony, it was time for the town meeting. Seeing this, Mo Hongtian and the others did not hesitate and began to explain the rules of the town meeting. In a while, each of you will be given an identity token. With this identity token, you can enter any residence in the ancestral tomb. After entering the ancestral tomb, you can also snatch other people's identity tokens. This is because the number of identity tokens you have will determine your results in the first round. If you want to gain something in the ancestral tomb and achieve a good result in the town meeting, you must protect the identity token that will be given to each of you. Mo Hongtian and the others explained the rules of the first round of the town meeting to everyone. After listening to Mo Hongtian and the others, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly and he revealed a playful smile. In this way, the following competition would probably be a lot more intense and cruel. It seemed that this town meeting was no longer just an exchange of pointers between the younger generation of the clans. It was more like a competition between the clans, using this method to weaken the foundations of the other clans. After all, when the younger generation entered the ancestral tomb and fought for the identity tokens, some of them would definitely die. The hope of a clan all rested on the younger generation. If all the younger generation of a clan died, the clan would not last long. After a while, Mo Qingyun and the others received their identity tokens. A total of 180 people entered the ancestral tomb. Everyone, let's begin. Seeing that the identity tokens had been distributed, Mo Hongtian and the other two nodded to the other clan leaders. Then, each clan leader took out a key and inserted it into the keyhole of the stone door of the ancestral tomb. After the key was inserted into the keyhole, the stone door of the ancestral tomb immediately shook and slowly opened. Boom, 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 or when the stone door was opened, the entire ground began to shake, producing a series of loud noises. After the stone door was opened, an ancient aura spread out and the remains of this ancient sect appeared before everyone. The stone door can only be opened for half an hour. Everyone, enter the ancestral tomb immediately. Seeing that the stone door of the ancestral tomb was opened, He Qianxing immediately urged the younger generation. Chapter 87. As soon as Mo Qingyun entered the ancestral tomb, he felt a dark and corrosive aura. The lighting in the ancestral tomb was not good, so he could barely see the surroundings within a 10-meter radius. After scanning the surroundings, Mo Qingyun saw some grayish-white shadows floating around them. These grayish-white figures were emitting a cold, bloodthirsty, and resentful aura. These are spirits and vengeful spirits. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly. He did not expect such things to appear in the ancestral tomb. At this moment, before Mo Qingyun could think further, the vengeful spirits and spirits pounced on them as if they had gone mad. Spirits and vengeful spirits did not have a physical body. Although they could not cause physical harm, they could hurt one's soul. Therefore, compared to other demonic beasts, they were much more dangerous. It's spirits and vengeful spirits. Everyone, run! Being attacked by the spirits and vengeful spirits, someone screamed in fear. After a while, the people at the entrance started to run for their lives. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun frowned and released his soul power to sense the surroundings. He wanted to find Mo Xian and see if she was nearby. After sensing for a while, Mo Qingyun realized that Mo Xian was not here. She must have left just now. Seeing that Mo Xian had left, Mo Qingyun did not deliberately look for her. He thought to himself, with Sister Mo Xian's true energy realm cultivation, she should be able to protect herself. Luckily, Xiao Xiao did not come in. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, if even true energy realm cultivators were in danger in the ancestral tomb, then the northern desert towns clans wouldn't have allowed these juniors in the 7th and 8th stage of the body-tempering realm to come along. The juniors were the future of the family. They would not let these juniors die in vain. Heavenly Soul Seal, looking at the vengeful spirit that was attacking him, Mo Qingyun raised his hand and pointed. A soul battle seal was released and blasted towards the vengeful spirit. Ah! Under the attack of the soul battle seal, the vengeful spirit let out a scream and disappeared. At this time, when Mo Qingyun defeated the vengeful spirits and specters around him, he was surprised to find that the surrounding people who were attacked by these vengeful spirits and specters were behaving extremely strangely. At this moment, these people had lifeless expressions, as if they had lost their souls. These people seemed to be under the control of vengeful spirits and spirit. Could it be possession? But it doesn't seem like it. Mo Qingyun furrowed his brows, his heart filled with doubt. He thought to himself, it seems that there are many secrets hidden in this ancestral tomb. There are many unknown dangers. It's not as simple as everyone says. I'll have to be more careful from now on. With this thought in mind, Mo Qingyun became more cautious and headed deeper into the ancestral tomb. Contrary to Mo Qingyun's expectations, the number of vengeful spirits and ghosts in the ancestral tomb had become extremely low. Although Mo Qingyun was a little surprised by the decrease in the number of ghosts and vengeful spirits, he did not pay too much attention to it. As he went deeper into the ancestral tomb, some dilapidated mansions and palaces gradually appeared in front of Mo Qingyun's eyes. Although these palaces were dilapidated, from the scale and aura, it could be seen that this ancient sect was still relatively strong in the past. At least, Mo Qingyun felt that the Alchemist Alliance in Lianyun City was not as strong as this ancient sect. After a while, a well-preserved mansion appeared in front of Mo Qingyun's eyes. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun walked in, wanting to see if he could gain anything inside. What surprised Mo Qingyun was that when he walked into the mansion, he found that there were already a few people inside. When these people saw Mo Qingyun, they were first stunned, then they sneered. "Kid, hand over your identity card, kowtow and beg for mercy. Then, get out of here and we can spare your life." One of them raised his head and ordered Mo Qingyun. "Let's go," Mo Qingyun said. "Hand over my identity card and you won't kill me?" Hearing this person's words, Mo Qingyun smirked and said, "How about this, hand over your identity cards to me and kowtow and admit your mistakes. Then, I will spare your lives." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, these people were stunned. They did not expect Mo Qingyun to reply like this. Then, they laughed as if they had heard the funniest joke. They were all at body tempering stage 8 and stage 9. Mo Qingyun actually dared to talk to them like this. He was really courting death. Could it be that Mo Qingyun thought that he could defeat all of them by himself? "Haha, did you hear that? This kid wants us to hand over our identity cards and kowtow to him. Who does he think he is? Song Ziheo from the Song family? He's an expert at true energy stage 3. Forget it, he's just a kid with some mental issues. Just send him away. This kid must be from that family to make up the numbers. Let him go in and die, so that the family's elites don't get killed." These people mocked Mo Qingyun. "Kid, I'm afraid you've never seen a martial skill before. I'll show you now. Ice Silkworm Inner Strength." As soon as this person finished speaking, he threw a palm towards Mo Qingyun and executed a martial skill. When this person attacked, Mo Qingyun sensed a faint cold chi emanating from that person's palm. However, this chill was too weak to cause any harm. Thus, Mo Qingyun could not dodge it. Bang! Then, this person's palm landed squarely on Mo Qingyun's body. "Kid, with your strength, you dare to ask us to hand over our identity cards and kowtow to you." Seeing that his palm had landed on Mo Qingyun, this person immediately revealed a look of disdain and sneered at Mo Qingyun. But soon, he felt that something was wrong and his expression changed. This was because Emo Qingyun was actually completely fine after taking his attack. He stood in the same spot and didn't even move. Doesn't this mean that his attack did not cause any harm to Emo Qingyun? His cultivation was at body tempering stage 9, and Emo Qingyun was fine after taking his full force attack. What was Emo Qingyun's cultivation? At this moment, these people were dumbfounded. This time, they seemed to have hit a brick wall. Could it be that Emo Qingyun's cultivation was at the true energy realm? Is this a martial skill? Emo Qingyun smiled playfully and shook his head. It doesn't seem like much. After that, Emo Qingyun slowly took a step forward while everyone was still in shock. As soon as Emo Qingyun took a step forward, wind blades appeared around his body and swept wildly. Chi under these wind blades, these people's bodies were soon covered in wounds. After realizing this, these people were so scared that they almost peed their pants. Their faces were filled with terror. Just one step forward and they were all severely injured. What kind of skill was this? What kind of freak did they offend? At this moment they lost their ability to think and their legs turned to jelly. Big brother, we were blind to not recognize Mount Tai. We'll give you our identity badges, please don't kill us. Then, these people did not dare to hesitate and immediately kowtowed and begged for mercy. Seeing their pants wet, Emo Qingyun gave them a disdainful look and took their identity badges. He said coldly, "Piss off. Thank you, big brother, for not killing us." After hearing Emo Qingyun telling them to piss off, they immediately ran away as if they had been granted amnesty. After leaving the mansion, these people were still in a state of shock. They said in fear, "Who was that guy? How could such a terrifying guy enter the ancestral tomb? I thought those above the age of 20 couldn't enter the ancestral tomb?" One of them said with a pale face, "Do you think that guy was Song Ziheo? I've seen Song Ziheo before. He's definitely not Song Ziheo, but I feel that he's even scarier than Song Ziheo." Another person said, "Stop talking nonsense, let's run. If that guy changes his mind, we won't be able to escape." At this moment, a 9th-layer body-tempering realm cultivator said. Chapter 88. Emo Qingyun did not pay attention to the few people who were running away quickly. He looked at the 5 identity badges in his hand. Not bad. Emo Qingyun was quite satisfied with the 5 identity badges he had obtained in one go. After putting away the identity badges, Emo Qingyun walked into a room in the mansion. Once he entered the room, Emo Qingyun saw many skeletons lying on the ground or leaning against the wall. After discovering this, Emo Qingyun's expression changed and he was shocked. With Emo Qingyun's insight, he immediately saw that everyone in the room had been killed by one move. In one move, he had killed more than 10 martial artists, but he had not damaged their bones in the slightest. This ability was quite terrifying. Soul Secret Skill. These people must have been killed by the Soul Secret Skill. After seeing the cause of death of these people, Emo Qingyun was shocked. He was surprised by the result. Only by using the Soul Secret Skill to kill people would one not damage the opponent's bones. This was the current situation. Emo Qingyun was very curious. How did this ancient sect provoke such an existence? Why was the other party so ruthless? In Emo Qingyun's opinion, with the strength of this ancient sect, it was not enough to attract the attention of the other party. After calming himself down, Emo Qingyun continued to walk into the room to see if there was anything valuable. Perhaps it had been too long, or perhaps the things in the room had already been taken by someone else. Now, in the room, besides the skeletons, there was nothing valuable. After seeing this, Emo Qingyun walked out of the room. After that, Emo Qingyun entered the other rooms one after another. The result was the same. There was nothing valuable. In addition, from the way the people in the other rooms had died, they were also killed by one move using the Soul Secret Skill. After discovering this, Emo Qingyun's expression changed and he said in shock, "Could it be that everyone in this sect was killed in a single move? One move to kill everyone in the sect. The strength of the person who did this was too terrifying. For someone to be able to do this, his soul cultivation is at least at the Heaven Palace realm. Emo Qingyun made a simple conjecture. His expression became more serious, and his mood became a little heavy. What is the reason for this strong man of the Heaven Palace realm to come here and kill everyone in this sect? With these questions in mind, Emo Qingyun left the residence and headed for the other residences in the ancestral tomb. During this process, Emo Qingyun encountered many people who wanted to snatch his identity card, but the result was the same. Their identity cards were all snatched away by him. Several hours later, the number of identity badges Emo Qingyun had suddenly increased to more than 30. In other words, out of a total of 180 identity badges, 1/6 of them had fallen into his hands. Emo Qingyun didn't know whether to laugh or cry at this result. It seemed that he had plundered too much. But since it was delivered to his doorstep, he couldn't reject it. Have you all heard? The Song family is joining forces with the He family to massacre the Emo family. I heard about it a long time ago. Several juniors of the Emo family have died. Only Emo Xian, Emo Tsang, and Emo Yi are left. I heard that Emo Xian is being hunted down by He Guang. Moreover, Emo Xian seems to be injured. At this time, the voices of these people's conversation came into Emo Qingyun's ears. The He family. Hearing these people's words, Emo Qingyun's face darkened. His body emitted a murderous intent, and he said coldly, "It seems that I have been too kind. You just said that Emo Xian was being hunted down by He Guang. Where is Emo Xian now?" Emo Qingyun asked coldly as he grabbed one of the people in the group. "It's in a mansion about 1 li to the west of this place." Under Emo Qingyun's terrifying aura, this person answered with a pale face. "You better not lie to me." Emo Qingyun's body moved after he heard the other party's reply. His figure flashed a few times and disappeared from their line of sight. That person was so terrifying. Seeing Emo Qingyun walk away, these people sucked in a breath of cold air and said with lingering fear. At this moment, in a residence in the ancestral tomb, "Emo Xian, you can't escape. Hand over the spiritual energy pills." At this moment, in front of Emo Xian, a young man of about 18 or 19 years old said coldly to Emo Xian, "He Guang, don't go too far. I was the one who found these spiritual energy pills." Emo Xian's face darkened as she said angrily. Previously, Emo Xian was lucky to find this bottle of spiritual energy pills in a residence. However, for some reason, He Guang of the He family found out about it and chased after her. So what? The treasures in the ancestral tomb belong to the capable. I advise you to hand them over obediently. He Guang sneered proudly. He sized up Emo Xian's body and smiled evilly. "To be honest, I can't bear to lay my hands on a beauty like you. Of course, if you're willing to serve me from now on, I can give you some of the spiritual energy pills." Shameless! Hearing He Guang's vulgar words, Emo Xian was embarrassed and angry. She cursed at He Guang. Shameless? He Guang sneered at Emo Xian's words and said, "When I let you experience the feeling of ascension, you won't say that. At that time, you'll beg me to do it." Hearing He Guang's words getting worse and worse, Emo Xian was so embarrassed and angry that she attacked He Guang directly. Fire Silk Phoenix Dance. Emo Xian's body moved. Like a fire phoenix, she danced and attacked He Guang. As Emo Xian's body danced, a powerful flame true qi erupted from her body. "Emo Xian, this level of attack isn't enough to hurt me." Seeing Emo Xian attack, He Guang smiled disdainfully. "Although we're both in the true energy realm, I've awakened a martial soul super ability. Now, I'll show you the power of a martial soul super ability." Sky Milky Way. He Guang attacked with both palms. The river marshal's soul above his head immediately turned into a curtain of water and blocked in front of him. As soon as the curtain of water appeared, it blocked Moxion's attack and hit her body. Poochie. After being hit by the curtain of water, Moxion's body was pushed back and she spat out a mouthful of blood. Seeing that Moxion was pushed back by his attack, Higuang sneered proudly, Moxion, I'll give you one last chance. Hand over the spiritual energy pill and be my servant in the future, and I can spare your life. Otherwise, don't blame me for not knowing how to be gentle to a woman. Unless I die, Moxion gritted her teeth and attacked Higuang again. You're courting death. Seeing Moxion attack again, Higuang's face darkened and he raised his hand to counterattack. Bang! After another collision, Moxion's body was sent flying again. At this moment, Higuang did not show mercy. He attacked Moxion again and said savagely, Since you don't know what's good for you, don't blame me for being ruthless. Then, Higuang attacked Moxion with his palm. His action was extremely vicious. Seeing Higuang's attack, Moxion showed a trace of despair, and she unconsciously closed her eyes. Bang! However, at this moment, a muffled sound came from in front of Moxion. Then, Moxion saw that Higuang's body was pushed back by a punch. Moxiongyun, it was Moxiongyun. Seeing that Moxiongyun had arrived, Moxion's lips curled into a sweet smile. It was captivating. Sister Moxion, leave the rest to me. Moxiongyun smiled faintly at Moxion. Okay. Chapter 89. Moxiongyun's sudden appearance made the expressions of Higuang and the rest change, revealing a trace of vigilance. They did not expect Moxion to have a helper at such a crucial moment. Peak body tempering stage 10. However, when Higuang discovered that Moxiongyun was only at the peak of body tempering stage 10, his face was filled with disdain. Even Moxion was no match for him, let alone a 10th layer body tempering realm cultivator. What could a 10th layer body tempering realm cultivator do? Kid, I admire your courage. You know that you are no match for me, but you still dare to step forward. Higuang looked at Moxiongyun with disdain and smirked. Are you trying to be a hero and save the damsel in distress? Your strength is not enough. How about this, you kowtow to me and beg for mercy, cripple your own cultivation, and bark like a dog 3 times. Later, when I play with Moxion, I'll allow you to watch from the side. After Higuang finished his words, he laughed heartily in an unbridled manner. I also admire your courage to speak to me like that. Moxiongyun's face darkened as he said coldly. However, even if you kowtow to me and beg for mercy, cripple your cultivation and bark like a dog, I will not let you go. Did you hear that? He said he will not let me go? Hearing Moxiongyun's words, Higuang laughed again and said to the group, Brother Higuang, this kid is probably trying to save his face. He does not want to embarrass himself in front of women. In my opinion, this kid must be extremely scared. Maybe he has already wet his pant. Kid, Brother Higuang is the 3rd genius of our He clan. Even Tsang from your Mo clan is no match for him. As for that Moxiongyun from your Mo clan, I think he is not even qualified to carry Brother Higuang's shoes. The few followers behind Higuang said in a fearless tone. Not even qualified to carry his shoes? Hearing them say that he was not even qualified to carry Higuang's shoes, Moxiongyun smiled playfully. On the other hand, Moxion looked at Higuang sympathetically. These people did not even know who Moxiongyun was, yet they dared to say such things. Kid, to show you the difference between the body tempering stage and the true stage, I will let you make the first move. Higuang said to Moxiongyun with a disdainful attitude. Let me make the first move? Hearing Higuang's words, the smile on Moxiongyun's lips deepened as he said, I hope you don't regret it later. Immediately, Moxiongyun did not hesitate and immediately attacked Higuang. 9 stage crash. As soon as Mo Qingyun made his move, the aura on his body immediately soared, reaching the level of true Qi realm. The powerful true Qi on his fist immediately transformed into 9 true Qi fist shadows, smashing down on the shocked He Guang. You're not at the peak of body tempering stage 10, you're at the true energy realm. Feeling the change in Mo Qingyun's aura, He Guang was shocked and a trace of panic flashed in his eyes. Mo Qingyun's cultivation was not at the peak of the body tempering stage 10, but at the true stage like He Guang. However, He Guang did not have time to think as Mo Qingyun's fist was already in front of him. Sky Milky Way. Seeing this, He Guang did not dare to hesitate and immediately used his martial soul super ability. Soon, a water curtain appeared in front of He Guang and blocked Mo Qingyun's fist. However, under Mo Qingyun's fist, He Guang's martial soul super ability could only block for a moment before it was destroyed. Bang bang bang, then, He Guang was hit by a series of fist shadows and his body flew out. Puff! After He Guang fell to the ground, he spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was pale as he looked at Mo Qingyun in fear. He did not expect Mo Qingyun to be so strong. In front of Mo Qingyun, He Guang did not even have the strength to fight back. Is this the difference between the body tempering stage and the true stage? Mo Qingyun said with a smile. After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, He Guang's face turned red. He said in a panic, Who are you? Why are you meddling in other people's business? Who am I? Mo Qingyun smiled playfully and said, I am Mo Qingyun. Didn't they say that I'm not even qualified to carry your shoes? How come you don't even know who I am? Mo Qingyun. After hearing Mo Qingyun's identity, He Guang and the rest were stunned as if they were struck by lightning. They did not expect that the person they disdained was standing right in front of them and they did not recognize him. What shocked them even more was that Mo Qingyun actually had such terrifying strength. Even He Guang, who was at the true stage, was not a match for Mo Qingyun's one move. If that was the case, Mo Qingyun would be able to enter the top 5 in this town meeting. When they thought of this, He Guang and the rest were terrified. They fearfully said to Mo Qingyun, what do you want? We are all direct descendants of the He clan. If you dare to touch us, the He clan will not let you go. Direct descendants of the He clan? So what? Mo Qingyun said disdainfully, when you were chasing after Sister Mo Xian, why didn't you think that she is a direct descendant of the Mo clan? Could it be that your He clan is superior to others? After being questioned by Mo Qingyun, He Guang and the rest were speechless. They could not refute him. After a short moment of silence, He Guang and the rest immediately begged for mercy. Mo Qingyun, don't kill us. As long as you don't kill us, we will do anything. I just said that even if you kowtow and beg for mercy, I will still kill you. So die. Seeing that He Guang and the rest were speechless, Mo Qingyun did not waste time talking nonsense with them. He directly raised his hand and attacked them. Fire Dragon Seal. In an instant, 27 true Qi battle seals were all summoned by Mo Qingyun. They quickly flew towards He Guang and the rest. Facing the bombardment of 27 true Qi battle seals, He Guang and the rest did not even have the chance to resist. They were instantly killed by Mo Qingyun. However, before He Guang died, he said viciously, Mo Qingyun, don't be so proud. After the town meeting, your Mo clan will be destroyed. After the town meeting, the Mo clan will be destroyed? Hearing He Guang's words, Mo Qingyun frowned. A faint sense of worry rose in his heart. However, Mo Qingyun did not think too much about it. This was not something that he could control. Qingyun, let's go. At this moment, just as Mo Qingyun was putting away He Guang and the rest's Qiankuan bags, Mo Xian walked over. Okay. Mo Qingyun nodded and left the mansion with Mo Xian. Sister Mo Xian, after you came in, did you meet brother Mo and the rest? Mo Qingyun asked. No. After I came in, I saw many spirits and vengeful spirits attacking. Then, I attacked and killed my way out. Moxian recounted her experience. After that, I looked for fortuitous encounters in the ancestral tomb. Not long ago, I found some spiritual energy pills in a mansion. I didn't expect He Guang to find out and chase me all the way here. Along the way, I heard that the Song and He clans were attacking my Mo clan. I'm a little worried about the safety of Brother Moe and the rest. Mo Qingyun looked worried. He had a good impression of Moe. Then let's head towards the interior of the ancestral tomb. I think they should be heading there. That's the exit to the ancestral tomb. Moxian said to Mo Qingyun. Okay, let's hurry. Chapter 90. In the time that followed, Mo Qingyun and Moxian shuttled back and forth from one residence to another. Unfortunately, they didn't find much. Occasionally, they would find 1 or 2 bottles of low-grade pills or 1 or 2 books of ordinary martial skills. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but wonder if the precious items in the ancestral tomb had been taken away by someone else. As they ventured deeper into the ancestral tomb, the spirits and vengeful spirits that appeared were much stronger. A single spirit or vengeful spirit was enough to threaten a 10th-layer body-tempering cultivator. Fortunately, they hadn't gained intelligence and would only attack those who approached them instinctively. However, for Mo Qingyun, with his virtual realm soul cultivation, dealing with these spirits was a piece of cake. Moxian's eyes widened as she watched Mo Qingyun execute the heavenly soul seal and kill these spirits and vengeful spirits as if they were vegetables. These vengeful spirits and spirits didn't have any reaction to her attacks, but Mo Qingyun killed them as if they were vegetables. She had to admit that this scene was a huge blow to her. Fortunately, Moxian wasn't an indecisive person. She was relieved after a short while. Just like that, 2 days later, Mo Qingyun and Moxian arrived at the deepest part of the ancestral tomb. There was a stone platform that shone brightly. It was the exit of the ancestral tomb that Moxian had mentioned earlier. Qingyun, let's go out. Moxian said to Mo Qingyun when they arrived at the exit. Tomorrow is the last day of our stay in the ancestral tomb. I think Brother Moe and the rest have already left the ancestral tomb. Mo Qingyun nodded. He pondered for a moment and said to Moxian, Sister Moxian, you can go out now. I plan to take a look around the ancestral tomb. This, Moxian hesitated for a moment when she heard Mo Qingyun's words. Then she said, All right then. Be careful. I'll leave the ancestral tomb first. Then, Moxian stepped into the light of the stone platform and disappeared before Mo Qingyun's eyes in the blink of an eye. Seeing Moxian leave the ancestral tomb, Mo Qingyun retraced his steps and walked towards an inconspicuous palace. When he entered the palace with Moxian just now, he could clearly feel an obscure aura emanating from this place. After walking into the palace, Missouri Qingyun released his spiritual strength and sensed the obscure aura fluctuations from before. Underground. Not long after, Mo Qingyun frowned as he sensed the source of that obscure aura fluctuation. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun began to search for the entrance to the underground. Soon, he found a hidden passageway. As soon as he entered the passageway, the aura from before was clearly stronger. In addition, what surprised Mo Qingyun even more was that there was actually a strong fluctuation of blood qi inside the tunnel. Why is there such a strong blood qi fluctuation below? With strong doubts and curiosity, Mo Qingyun increased his speed and walked deeper into the tunnel. After a while, Mo Qingyun came to the end of the tunnel and was stunned by the scene in front of him. At the end of the tunnel was a place that looked like an altar. In the center of the altar was a huge blood pool. At this moment, around the blood pool, there were many figures that jumped into the altar one after another. As soon as these figures entered the altar, they turned into blood water in the blink of an eye. What shocked Mo Qingyun even more was that the figures that jumped into the altar were all juniors of the various large clans who had participated in the town meeting and entered the ancestral tomb. After a short moment of shock, Mo Qingyun checked the blood pool again. Mo Qingyun's expression changed drastically as soon as he saw it. Judging from the runes around the blood pool, this should be the infamous 10,000 corpses blood refining array. In addition, Mo Qingyun was very clear that only people who wanted to be reborn from a drop of blood would use the 10,000 blood corpse refining array to refine the blood essence of others. This is the 10,000 blood corpse refining array. Someone wants to be reborn from a drop of blood. Mo Qingyun was shocked. Boy, I didn't expect you to be so knowledgeable. You actually know about the 10,000 blood corpse refining array and rebirth from a drop of blood. At this moment, while Mo Qingyun was shocked, a gloomy laugh came from above the blood pool. The one who spoke was a crimson skeleton. Its eyes shone with a bewitching light. You are the disciple of the blood-refining demon king? After seeing the red skeleton, Mo Qingyun quickly guessed its origin and asked. Mo Qingyun asked because according to his understanding, only the blood-refining demon king and his disciples knew about the 10,000 blood corpse refining array and rebirth from a drop of blood. In addition, according to Mo Qingyun's memories, the blood-refining demon king seemed to have been killed by Li He before he was reborn. I didn't expect that after 1,000 years, there would still be someone who knows my name. The crimson skeleton sighed when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. Crimson light flickered in his eyes as he looked at Mo Qingyun and said, Kid, since you know my name, I can spare your life if you agree to become my blood slave. You are the blood-refining demon king? Hearing the crimson skeleton's words, Mo Qingyun was shocked. He didn't expect the crimson skeleton to be the true body of the infamous blood-refiner demon king. I didn't expect Li He to not only not kill you, but also let you escape here and plan to be reborn from a drop of blood. After a brief moment of surprise, Mo Qingyun looked at the blood-refiner demon king and smiled faintly. If your 10,000 corpses blood refinement formation was completed and you were reborn from a single drop of blood, I might be afraid of you. However, you're just a remnant soul now. You're not qualified to make me your blood slave. Blood slave was a unique skill of the blood-refining demon king. It could leave a bloodline mark in the opponent's bloodline. Once you became the blood-refining demon king's blood slave, your life would no longer be under the blood-refining demon king's control. Mo Qingyun wouldn't agree to such a thing. Moreover, the blood-refining demon king didn't have the ability to threaten him now. You. Who are you? Seeing that not only was Mo Qingyun aware of his current situation, but he also knew his past like the back of his hand, the blood-refiner demon king's tone became a little panicked. Although Mo Qingyun was only at the peak of body tempering stage 10 on the surface, the blood-refining demon king didn't believe that a kid at the peak of body tempering stage 10 could know so much about him. In his opinion, Mo Qingyun must be hiding his true identity. He was worried that Mo Qingyun was sent by Li He to kill him. Mo Qingyun ignored the blood-refining demon king's words and said calmly, You don't have to know who I am. I'll give you 2 choices now. 1, you follow me from now on. 2, I'll kill you later. Kid, don't go too far. I'll fight you to the death. Hearing Mo Qingyun's threat, the blood-refining demon king's tone darkened, and he said angrily, You can try. However, Mo Qingyun still did not care about this and replied indifferently. After speaking, Mo Qingyun waited calmly for the blood-refining demon king's reply. The reason why Mo Qingyun wanted to subdue the blood-refining demon king was because the blood-refining demon king was at the peak of the transcendent stage when he was at his peak. Moreover, the blood-refining demon king had a strange ability. If he could subdue him, he would be a great help in the future. After a while, the blood-refining demon king thought about it again. He didn't dare to take the risk and said reluctantly, All right, I agree to follow you. You'll realize how wise your choice was in the future. Seeing that the blood-refining Demon King was willing to submit, Emochinyon laughed and said, "You can use the bloodline mark on yourself and I'll leave a soul mark on you." The blood-refining Demon King was furious when he heard that Emochinyon wanted him to become Emochinyon's blood slave. However, after looking at Emochinyon for a short while, the blood-refining Demon King chose to back down. He had no choice. Emochinyon gave him a strange feeling and he knew him too well. He didn't dare to doubt that Emochinyon didn't have the means to deal with him. Chapter 91. After subduing the blood refiner Demon King, Emochinyon found out the reason for the sect's destruction. It was because of the aftermath of the fight between the blood refiner Demon King and the Supreme Realm expert, Li He. In the end, the blood refiner Demon King was no match for Li He, so he used the blood shield secret technique to hide in the sect and escape death. However, after using the blood shield secret technique, the blood refiner Demon King's vitality was greatly damaged. He had no choice but to use the blood rebirth technique to cultivate again. For this, the blood refiner Demon King set up a trap to attract people from the outside world into the sect, which was the ancestor worship and suppression. During each ancestor worship, the blood refiner Demon King would release some treasures for the juniors who entered the sect to obtain. This would attract the families from the outside world to send some juniors in every year to search for the treasures he released. During this process, he would kill some juniors from the various families and refine their essence blood to complete the 10,000 blood refiner formation. However, he did not expect Emochinyon to appear at this crucial moment and ruin all his plans. "How much longer do you need to complete the 10,000 blood refiner formation?" Emochinyon asked after hearing the blood refiner Demon King's explanation. "Master, I only need to refine the essence blood of these people," the blood refiner Demon King replied respectfully. Hearing this, Emochinyon nodded and said, "You've taken everything in this sect, haven't you?" "Yes, Master." The blood refining Demon King nodded and handed a Qiankuan pouch to Emochinyon. "Everything in this sect is in here. However, due to the consumption over the years, there isn't much left." Emochinyon took the Qiankuan pouch from the blood refiner Demon King and opened it. Just as the blood refiner Demon King had said, there weren't many things left in there. Fortunately, the remaining items were relatively rare and precious. Red blood grass, spirit melting flower, metal fruit, water spirit vine, apricot moss. Seeing this, Emochinyon took out various spiritual herbs and placed them neatly in front of him. There are still a few things missing. This is a bit troublesome. Emochinyon frowned and revealed a troubled expression. He asked the blood refiner Demon King, "Do you have dragon soul grass, feather spirit goldwater, and nirvana breath soil?" Dragon soul grass, feather spirit goldwater, nirvana breath soil. Hearing Emochinyon's question, the blood refiner Demon King was shocked. These things were extremely rare. More importantly, these things grew in extremely remote places. Very few people knew about these places. The blood refiner Demon King didn't expect Emochinyon to know about these items. He couldn't help but feel surprised. Looks like Master's background isn't simple. The blood refiner Demon King sighed and replied, "Master, I only have the dragon soul grass and feather goldwater. The nirvana breath soil exists on Phoenix Mountain, and I was unable to enter with my strength when I was alive. With the dragon soul grass and spirit feather golden water, it's possible. Unfortunately, the effect of the pills refined from them might be a little inferior." Emochinyon sighed and felt that it was a pity. If he had the nirvana breath soil, the blood refiner Demon King would be able to recover his cultivation to the Elixir Palace realm. Refining pills. The blood refiner Demon King's eyes lit up and asked in surprise, "Master, you know how to refine pills? May I know what kind of pills Master is trying to refine?" Emochinyon said indifferently, It can be considered a weakened version of the Grand Harmony blood fusing pill. A weakened version of the Grand Harmony fusion pill. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the blood refiner Demon King was shocked. He looked at Mo Qingyun with passion in his eyes. The Grand Harmony blood fusing pill was a high-grade pill that only an elixir king could refine. At this moment, Mo Qingyun wanted to refine a weakened version of the Grand Harmony fusion pill. Could it be that Mo Qingyun was the reincarnation of an elixir king? Otherwise, why would Mo Qingyun be able to refine such a high-grade pill? As for a 15-year-old elixir king, the blood refiner Demon King did not believe it. At this moment, the blood refiner Demon King's heart was filled with excitement and the resentment in his heart lessened. In his opinion, acknowledging a reincarnation of an elixir king as his master was not something to be ashamed of. Then, Mo Qingyun took out the crimson flame cauldron and began refining the pill. He placed various spiritual herbs into the cauldron one after another. Now that Mo Qingyun's soul cultivation had reached the illusory realm, the strength of his soul had increased greatly. His refining ability had also increased. He would be able to barely refine a weakened version of the poison pill. As Mo Qingyun started to concoct pills, the blood refinement demon kings were completely dumbfounded when they saw Mo Qingyun's alchemy technique. Dragonfly skimming the water hand. Divine beast cauldron hand. 100 birds fighting over their cries. In a short period of time, Mo Qingyun used more than 10 different refining techniques, each more profound than the last. At the end, the blood refiner Demon King could not recognize any of the technique. This scene shocked the blood refiner Demon King. He was sure that Mo Qingyun must be the reincarnation of an almighty. Otherwise, he would not have such an ability. However, the blood refiner Demon King was not very clear about which almighty figure it was. Just like that, several hours later, the blood refiner Demon King said in surprise, "Master, the refining of the 1,000 corpses blood refiner formation is complete." At this moment, the 1,000 corpses blood refiner formation was completely refined and turned into a purplish-black blood crystal. Okay. Mo Qingyun nodded after hearing this. He swallowed a pill to recover his true qi and continued refining the pill. After a few more hours, a pill fragrance came from the cauldron. The pill was complete. Then, Mo Qingyun opened the cauldron and saw a red pill lying quietly inside. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun took out the pill and threw it to the blood refiner Demon King. "Eat this pill first, then perform the blood refiner rebirth." "Yes, master." After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the blood refiner Demon King swallowed the pill and started refining it. As the blood refiner Demon Lord refined the pill, his crimson bones began to show signs of life. Seeing this, the blood refiner Demon King did not hesitate and dripped the purplish-black blood crystal on his head. As the purplish-black blood crystal fell on his head, it turned into a violent energy that slowly seeped into his bones. At the same time, the surrounding yuan energy of heaven and earth gathered towards the blood refiner Demon King in a frenzy. Then, flesh and blood started to form on the blood refiner Demon King's body, and his body slowly became full. An hour later, the blood refiner Demon King's body was finally completed. He turned into an old man with a head of red hair and looked like he was in his 60s. As the blood refiner Demon King completed his blood refiner rebirth, his powerful aura was immediately displayed. Half-step to Yuan dance state. Feeling the aura from the blood refiner Demon King, Mo Qingyun let out a satisfied look. Now that he had a half-step to Yuan Dan state fighter, it would be much more convenient for him to do what he wanted to do. Your servant Qi Lian greets Master. Thank you for giving me a new life. The blood refiner Demon King half-knelt in front of Mo Qingyun and bowed respectfully to Mo Qingyun. No need to be so polite. I am just the icing on the cake. Mo Qingyun waved his hand and said, "My current identity is a little special. I am a junior from a small family in northern desert town, Mo Qingyun. You can call me young Master Qin Yun from now on. Yes, young Master Qin Yun. The blood refiner demon king nodded and replied. In that case, let's leave this place. Chapter 92. Not far from the ancestral tomb, there was a huge platform filled with people. The juniors who had left the ancestral tomb had all been transported here. 3 days have passed, and the exit to the ancestral tomb is about to close. Why hasn't Qin Yun come out yet? Mo Feiping asked worriedly. Seeing that the time limit to enter the ancestral tomb was up, and Mo Qin Yun still hadn't come out, Mo Feiping and the others were very worried. Could it be that Mo Qin Yun had met with danger in the ancestral tomb? Was that why he hadn't come out yet? Xn tell us what happened when you and Qin Yun were separated. Mo Yueru asked nervously. Hearing this, Mo Xin recounted her experience with Mo Qin Yun to everyone. Hearing Mo Xin's reply, the Mo family fell silent, and the worry on their faces deepened. Hearing the conversation between Mo Feiping and the others, Mo Tsang gloated and said, There are many powerful spirits and vengeful spirits in the ancestral tomb. If an ordinary true energy realm cultivator were to encounter them, it would be extremely dangerous. When I was at the peak of the first level of the true energy realm, I also had a headache when I met spirits and vengeful spirit. It wasn't until I broke through to the second level of the true energy realm that the situation improved. Mo Tsang said with a proud expression, In my opinion, Mo Qin Yun should have encountered them and fallen into a dangerous situation. When he said this, Mo Tsang's tone was full of bragging, as if his cultivation had reached the second level of the true energy realm. Mo Tsang, don't be so full of yourself. Seeing Mo Tsang gloating, Mo Xin's expression changed, and she said unhappily, Those spirits and vengeful spirits aren't a threat to Qin Yun at all. Mo Tsang shrugged and said proudly with a cold smile, Is that so? Then why hasn't he come out? That's because, Mo Xin was at a loss for words after Mo Tsang's question. She didn't know how to answer. She had no choice. No matter how she explained, Mo Qin Yun hadn't come out. This was the truth. Hearing Mo Tsang's words, the already tense expressions of Mo Feiping and the others became even heavier. Although Mo Tsang's words were unpleasant, they were not without reason. If Mo Qin Yun had not met with danger with his cultivation base, he should have come out long ago. At this moment, while Mo Feiping and the others were worried, He Qianxing walked out from the crowd. Everyone, the exit of the ancestral tomb has been sealed. Next, I will announce the rankings of the first round of the town meeting. He Qianxing chuckled and said, After a round of statistics just now, the rankings for the first round of the competition are already in my hands. Now I will begin to announce first place. Song Zihao obtained a total of 27 identity cards. Second place, He Xiao 19 identity cards. Third place, He Yuyang 17 identity cards. Fourth place, Mo Xin 14 identity cards. Fifth place, Mo Tsang received 10 identity cards. 10th place, Lu Yong 6 identity cards. He Qianxing announced the rankings of the first round one by one. After He Qianxing finished announcing the rankings, he said to the crowd again, Those who entered the top 10 in the first round, rest for a moment and enter the second round of the competition. At this moment, just as He Qianxing finished speaking, Song Zihao came in front of the Mo clan and said with a cold smile, I heard that the Mo clan's number 1 junior, Mo Qin Yun, has extraordinary strength. Why don't I see his figure now? Could it be that he hasn't come out from the ancestral tomb yet? Hearing Song Zihao's words, the Mo clan's people's faces changed, and their expressions became somewhat unnatural. Song Zihao's actions at this moment were clearly touching the pot that did not boil. I haven't seen that Mo Qin Yun from the Mo clan. Could it be that he perished in the ancestral tomb? That's also possible. The danger in the ancestral tomb is not small. Every time it opens, the various clans will lose some juniors inside. The Mo clan lost their number 1 junior this time. I'm sure they must be very upset in their hearts. Being mentioned by Song Ziheo, the surrounding people all looked over at the Mo clan. Seeing the gloating gazes from the crowd, the faces of Mo Hong Tian and the others turned ugly. However, Mo Keed and the others had a faint smile on their faces as they replied to the crowd, "Haha, I think everyone has misunderstood. The number 1 person in our Mo clan's younger generation isn't Mo Qingyun, but my grandson, Mo Tsang." Hearing Mo Keed's words, the crowd's expression changed, and they were somewhat stunned. Mo Tsang was the number 1 junior in the Mo clan? When did this happen? Mo Keed ignored the crowd's surprise and said, "My grandson, Mo Qingyun, likes to keep a low profile and doesn't care about these empty titles. Therefore, he didn't compete for the number 1 junior title. Coincidentally, Mo Qingyun is the clan leader's grandson, so he took over this title." "Clan leader, I said I'm right? After Mo Keed finished speaking, he looked at Mo Hong Tian with a playful smile, as if he had Mo Hong Tian under control. In his opinion, Mo Hong Tian would definitely nod his head and admit it, because this was related to the Mo clan's reputation. If the number 1 junior in the Mo clan died in the ancestral tomb, it would be a humiliation to the Mo clan. This, Mo Hong Tian's expression was difficult and he hesitated, not knowing how to answer. There's a movement at the entrance of the ancestral tomb again. Is someone coming out? At this moment, when Mo Hong Tian didn't know how to answer, someone suddenly exclaimed in shock. Then, everyone turned to look at the entrance of the ancestral tomb, their faces filled with curiosity. Was there really someone coming out of the ancestral tomb? Who could it be? Under everyone's curious and expectant gazes, a slightly thin figure appeared in front of everyone. Mo Qingyun. The person who came out of the ancestral tomb was Mo Qingyun. Seeing this scene, everyone's expression couldn't help but change. They were a little surprised by this result. Just a moment ago, everyone was still discussing that Mo Qingyun might have died in the ancestral tomb. Who would have thought that he would come out in the blink of an eye? Such a dramatic turn of events was hard for everyone to accept. Under normal circumstances, once the entrance of the ancestral tomb was closed, the people inside would never be able to come out. How is this possible? The entrance of the ancestral tomb is closed. It's impossible for the people inside to come out. How did you come out? Seeing Mo Qingyun appear, Mo Tsang's face was filled with shock as he said in disbelief. Hearing Mo Tsang's words, everyone was also curious as they waited for Mo Qingyun's answer. Is that so? I just walked to the exit and then I came out. Mo Qingyun pretended to be confused as he replied. As for the real reason why he came out, only he knew. The mechanisms and formations in the ancestral tomb were all set up by the blood demon lord, Qi Lian. It was easy for him to let Mo Qingyun come out. The time to enter the ancestral tomb was set by the blood demon lord. Therefore, it was up to him to decide when to open the entrance. When Mo Qingyun left the ancestral tomb, he was worried that Qi Lian would be with him and arouse the suspicion of others. Therefore, he asked Qi Lian to leave the ancestral tomb alone from another place. Then, they would meet at Beima town. After all, those who entered the ancestral tomb were the juniors of the various big families. It would be too obvious if Qi Lian suddenly appeared. Qingyun, you're out. That's great. Seeing Mo Qingyun come out, Mo Feipeng and the rest were overjoyed and excited. Brother Hong Tian, since your grandson has come out of the ancestral tomb, ask him to take out his identity badge. At that moment, He Qianxing walked over and said to Mo Hong Tian. Then, Mo Qingyun took out his identity badge and handed it to He Qianxing. 67 identity badges. The number of identity tokens that Mo Qingyun obtained actually reached 67 pieces. Seeing this result, everyone was shocked. They were shocked by Mo Qingyun's performance. In that case, the first place of the first round of the contest was Mo Qingyun. Brother Hong Tian, congratulations. No wonder your grandson is the number 1 junior in the Mo family. After seeing Mo Qingyun's result, the surrounding family leaders immediately congratulated him. The number 1 junior in the Mo family? When the crowd said this, they subconsciously looked at Mo Qid and the rest. Their eyes were full of mockery. Mo Tsang was the number 1 junior in the Mo family? Mo Tsang kept a low profile? Mo Tsang did not want to be in the limelight. If that was the case, why was Mo Qingyun's result so much better than Mo Tsang's in the first round of the contest? Under the mocking gazes of the crowd, Mo Qid and the rest turned red. They were extremely embarrassed, as if they had eaten a fly. Previously, he had said that Mo Tsang was the number 1 junior in the Mo family. However, in the blink of an eye, Mo Qingyun had proven that he was the number 1 junior in the Mo family. This was a slap in the face. Chapter 93. Great Elder, I heard you say that Mo Tsang is the number 1 junior in the Mo family, right? At this moment, Mo Xian smiled at Mo Qid. Mo Qid's face turned red again when he heard Mo Xian's question. His expression was extremely awkward. This time, he had lost all his face. Seeing that Mo Qid did not speak, Mo Xian did not say anything else and turned to look at Mo Qingyun. Qingyun, why did you only come out now? Mo Xian and the others asked curiously. I met with some trouble in the ancestral tomb, so I was delayed for a while. Mo Qingyun laughed and made up a story. Because of that, I met with some fortuitous encounters and obtained many good things. Fortuitous encounters? Fortuitous encounters are not so easy to come by. Don't say that you obtained some good things just by picking up some weed. Mo Qingyun curled his lips in disdain and glanced at Mo Qingyun with disdain. Hearing Mo Tsang's words, Mo Qingyun smiled playfully and took out the Qiankuan bag that Qi Lian gave him. Following that, Mo Qingyun took out the items in the Qiankuan bag. There were elixirs, weapons. Seeing Mo Qingyun take out these items, the surrounding people's eyes lit up and they were extremely envious. This is a 3rd-grade elixir, the Treasure Yuan Dan. If a true energy realm martial artist takes it, it can increase their cultivation. There is also the Quenched Yuan Dan. After taking it, it can increase the purity of the body's Yuan Dan. This is a 3rd-grade elixir. This is a 100-year-old 4th-grade elixir. Just by smelling it, one will feel refreshed. There are actually 7 or 8 high-grade mysterious weapons. If a true energy realm martial artist has such weapons, their strength will increase by at least 30%. What kind of luck does this kid have to obtain so many treasures in one go? Seeing the items that Mo Qingyun took out, everyone was extremely envious. As Mo Qingyun took out the items one by one, Mo Tsang's face became more and more unsightly. It was as if he had eaten a fly. Compared to Mo Qingyun, the fortuitous encounter that he had was like a joke. Brat, you didn't empty the entire ancestral tomb, did you? Seeing Mo Qingyun take out a treasure, Mo Hongtian's mouth was wide open as he laughed at Mo Qingyun. For Mo Qingyun to have such a fortuitous encounter as his grandfather, he was naturally overjoyed. How lucky must one be to encounter such a thing? Mo Qingyun smiled guiltily at Mo Hongtian's question. Needless to say, Mo Hongtian's joke hit the nail on the head. The cosmos sack that Qi Lian gave Shao Chun indeed contained all the treasures in the ancestral grave. After a simple display, Mo Qingyun put away the items one by one. After a while, it was time to rest. At this moment, He Qianxing walked out and said to the crowd, "The top 10 juniors in the first round of the competition, come over here now." After hearing He Qianxing's words, Mo Qingyun and the rest walked over to where He Qianxing was pointing. I don't think I need to explain the importance of the second round of the competition. This concerns your clan's ranking in Northern Desert Town and the distribution of resources in Northern Desert Town. Therefore, I hope that you will give it your all." After seeing Mo Qingyun and the rest walk out, He Qianxing said to them in a deep voice, "What do you mean by distribution of resources?" When Mo Qingyun heard this, he asked Mo Xian, who was beside him, in confusion. "There are many plots of land in Northern Desert Town. Some of these plots of land produce various kinds of ores, while others are suitable for planting various kinds of spiritual herbs." Mo Xian explained to Mo Qingyun, however, the distribution of these plots of land is based on the ranking of each clan. The higher the ranking, the better the plot of land. Mo Xian added, "The ranking of each clan is based on the number of points obtained by the juniors in the town council." "I see." Mo Qingyun nodded. "The rules are still the same. The clan that wins first place will get 100 points, second place will get 90 points, and so on." At this moment, He Qianxing continued to explain the rules. In addition, if a clan has many juniors in the top 10, their points can be added together to form the clan's total points. "Alright, now we will draw lots to match up with your opponent." After explaining the rules, He Qianxing pointed to the drawing box at the side. Immediately, Mo Qingyun and the rest walked forward and began to draw lot. Number 1. Looking at the number in his hand, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly, indicating that he would fight first. Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and walked directly to the empty space in the center of the stone platform. Following him, Mo Qingyun saw a short, strong young man walk in front of him. This short, strong young man was quite strong. His cultivation was at LV2 True Energy Realm, and his aura was even stronger than Mo Tsang's. He Clan, He Yuyang. Mo Clan, Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun and He Yuyang bowed and introduced themselves. "Oh no, He Yuyang is very strong. He has a chance to get into the top 3 of the town council. I'm afraid Qingyun will be in trouble." Seeing that Mo Qingyun's opponent was He Yuyang, Mo Hongtian and the rest became serious. He Yuyang's cultivation was at LV2 True Energy Realm, and he was not like Mo Tsang, who had just broken through. He was very strong. It would be very difficult for Mo Qingyun to defeat He Yuyang. At the center of the stone platform, in the arena. "Mo Qingyun, right? I've heard some things about you." He Yuyang looked disdainfully at Mo Qingyun and said, "I'm very surprised that you could break through to the true energy realm so quickly, but you're still not my match with your cultivation at LV1 True Energy Realm. Perhaps Mo Tsang from your Mo clan can take 10 moves from me." "Mo Tsang can take 10 moves from you?" Hearing He Yuyang's words, the surrounding crowd's expressions changed. This He Yuyang was really arrogant. They were both at LV2 True Energy Realm, but he actually said that Mo Tsang could only take 10 moves from him. Not only that, but He Yuyang's words also had another meaning. He was saying that Mo Qingyun could not even take 10 moves from him. "Is that so?" Mo Qingyun smiled at He Yuyang's words and said, "Perhaps you don't know, but Mo Tsang can't even take 10 moves from me." "Mo Tsang can't even take 10 moves from me?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the surrounding crowd's expressions changed and became somewhat shocked. Mo Qingyun was even more arrogant than He Yuyang. He actually said that Mo Tsang could not even take 10 moves from him. Was he trying to use this to show that his strength was stronger than He Yuyang's? While they were shocked by Mo Qingyun's words, some of the surrounding people also looked at Mo Tsang playfully. Seeing the crowd's gazes, Mo Tsang's expression was extremely ugly. These two fellows actually humiliated and belittled him like this. "Mo Qingyun, He Yuyang, if I meet you later, I'll definitely ruthlessly humiliate you." Mo Qingyun's eyes were about to burst as he clenched his fists and gritted his teeth and thought to himself. Mo Qingyun and He Yuyang did not care about Mo Tsang's thoughts. "You're good at talking big, but true strength isn't all talk." Seeing that Mo Qingyun was even more arrogant than him, He Yuyang's expression darkened. He snorted coldly and said, In order to let you know how big the gap between you and me is, when we fight later, I'll give you a handicap with both hands. If I use both hands, it'll be considered my loss. Hiyuyang wanted to give Mo Qingyun a handicap with both hands? Hearing Hiyuyang's words, the surrounding people's expressions changed and their hearts were filled with shock. Hiyuyang was too arrogant. Give me a handicap with both hands? Mo Qingyun looked at Hiyuyang in front of him and said arrogantly, in that case, when we fight later, I'll give you a handicap with both hands and legs. If I use both hands and legs, it'll be considered my loss. How about that? What? Mo Qingyun wanted to give Hiyuyang a handicap with both hands and legs? Mo Qingyun was too arrogant. Did he think that he could defeat Hiyuyang by standing still? At this moment, everyone was dumbfounded, stunned by Mo Qingyun's actions. Did I hear wrongly? Mo Qingyun said he wanted to give Hiyuyang a handicap with both hands and legs. Is he planning to commit suicide? Although he's not committing suicide, he's still too impulsive. This is equivalent to giving Hiyuyang victory. That's not necessarily true. I'm very curious about Mo Qingyun's performance later. Perhaps he'll discover something unexpected. At this moment, the surrounding people were in an uproar as they whispered to each other. If you give me a handicap with both hands and legs, I hope you won't regret it later. Hiyuyang smirked and sneered complacently. If Mo Qingyun gave him a handicap with both hands and legs, could he still win? Chapter 94. Qingyun, you've been careless. Mo Hongtian's expression changed as he sighed. Hiyuyang's words must be a trap for Qingyun. In Mo Hongtian's opinion, Hiyuyang would not be so reckless in a fight that would determine a family's status in northern desert town. Therefore, Hiyuyang's words about letting Mo Qingyun use both his hands were a trap for Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun's cultivation was already lower than Hiyuyang's, and now he was going to let Hiyuyang use both his hands and legs. Mo Hongtian felt that Mo Qingyun was going to lose this fight. You're overestimating yourself. How dare you let someone else use both his hands and legs? Let's see how you fight with Hiyuyang later. Mo Tsang sneered and said disdainfully. Even I don't dare to let Hiyuyang use both his hands and legs. Mo Qingyun, you're really courting death. Seeing Mo Qingyun's arrogant behavior, Song Zihao curled his lips and said disdainfully. Is he really Mo Qingyun? He Lingyu was shocked. She could not believe that the arrogant young man in the fighting ring was the Mo Qingyun she knew. This was a far cry from the cowardly Mo Qingyun in her impression. In the middle of the fighting ring, seeing that Mo Qingyun was even more arrogant than him and wanted to let him use both his hands and legs, Hiyuyang smiled cruelly. Mo Qingyun, since you're courting death, don't blame me, Hiyuyang said coldly. Then, he summoned his martial soul. Silkworm Shadow Leopard, appear. At Hiyuyang's call, a black leopard shadow with a pair of huge silkworm wings appeared above him. The Silkworm Shadow Leopard martial soul was a top-class 9 martial soul. It could increase a martial artist's speed and strength. It was a very powerful martial soul. Silent Shadow. At this moment, Hiyuyang did not hold back in the slightest. He directly executed a martial skill, and his figure flashed towards Mo Qingyun. As Hiyuyang took a step forward, his figure turned into an afterimage. His speed was extremely fast. Apart from that, Hiyuyang's aura didn't fluctuate at all. If he were to carry out an assassination, it would definitely be a very terrifying thing. Mo Qingyun die. While everyone was still in a daze, Hiyuyang's figure had already appeared behind Mo Qingyun. Shadow Leopard steals heart. Hiyuyang stretched out his hand. The terrifying true qi on his palm quickly turned into a black leopard claw and attacked Mo Qingyun's back. Seeing this scene, everyone's expression changed, revealing a look of reluctance. If he was hit by this attack, Mo Qingyun would be dead for sure. Mo Qingyun is finished. Hiyuyang's attack is too vicious. If he takes it head-on, he'll definitely be seriously injured. He Yang is too strong. Even if they fight head-on, Mo Qingyun won't have any chance of winning. He Yang is a popular candidate for the top 3 in the town assembly. Mo Qingyun dared to be arrogant when fighting with him. He deserves this outcome. There was a commotion at the side. Oh no, I'm afraid Qingyun won't be able to take He Yang's attack. Mo Hongtian and the others were worried. Their faces were filled with anxiety as they tightly clenched their fists. Mo Xin and the other girls directly covered their eyes and exclaimed in worry. In contrast to Mo Hongtian and the others' worries, the He clan's people smiled faintly and said, "Haha, Yu Yang is very good. Even when facing a weak opponent, he didn't hold back. If he can cripple the Mo clan's kid, that would be great." The He clan naturally didn't want to see outstanding juniors from other clans grow, in case they threatened their clan's interests in the future. So he didn't become arrogant, but self-righteous. Seeing that Mo Qingyun didn't react at all to He Yang's attack, He Lingyu's expression became much better. Just when everyone thought that Mo Qingyun wouldn't be able to take He Yang's attack, Mo Qingyun closed his eyes. With his hands behind his back, Mo Qingyun directly closed his eyes and took a small step forward. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, He Yang sneered. Trying to dodge? It's too late, however. Before He Yang could finish speaking, his expression froze. He couldn't feel happy anymore. Wind blades. At that moment, true Qi wind blades appeared around Mo Qingyun's body. Moreover, each of these true Qi wind blades exuded an aura comparable to the full-force attack of a true Qi realm cultivator. What kind of technique is this? Seeing Mo Qingyun's move, He Yang was shocked and hurriedly retreated. Even so, he was still hit by several wind blades in a short period of time, leaving wounds that were dripping with blood. At that moment, He Yang was no longer as high-spirited as before. Instead, he was battered and exhausted. He Yang was beaten back and seriously injured by Mo Qingyun? Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were instantly dumbfounded. They felt that it was unreal. Mo Qingyun really didn't use his hands or legs to beat back and seriously injure He Yang. That's profound meaning? Compared to the shock of some of the juniors, Mo Hongtian and the others were undoubtedly more shocked. Profound meaning was the key to breaking through to the Yuan Dan realm. It was something that they had never been able to comprehend. Now, Mo Qingyun had successfully comprehended profound meaning when he was just in the true Qi realm. This was too shocking. Profound meaning, good lad. You've only just entered the true Qi realm, but you've already comprehended profound meaning that even true Qi realm cultivators can't comprehend. Good, haha. At that moment, Mo Hongtian stood up excitedly. The joy he felt was indescribable. For Mo Qingyun to be able to have such a performance, it was really beyond his expectations. Good lad, you're becoming more and more unpredictable. Mo Feipeng was also excited. His body trembled uncontrollably. Profound meaning, how is this possible? How can a true Qi realm lad comprehend profound meaning? At that moment, Mo Hongtian wasn't the only one who was shocked. The other family heads also stood up in shock. This lad has terrifying comprehension. Although his martial soul cultivation isn't high, his talent is too terrifying. At that moment, those who knew about Mo Qingyun's martial soul couldn't help but exclaim in their hearts. Profound meaning. Hearing the reactions of the people around him, He Yang was also stunned at this moment. He unconsciously sucked in a breath of cold air. At that moment, He Yang couldn't help but want to scream. Is Mo Qingyun still human? Mo Qingyun actually comprehended something that even true Qi realm cultivators couldn't comprehend. Is there any justice in this world? Humph. Even if you've comprehended profound meaning, you'll still lose if you don't use your arms and legs. He Yang gritted his teeth and said with a gloomy face, "The power of your profound meaning is only comparable to a true Qi realm cultivator. This kind of attack can't defeat me. He Yang moved his body and directly faced Mo Qingyun. Shadow Leopard illusory kill. At that moment, He Yang didn't dare to hold back and used his martial soul's super ability. He Yang's body pounced like a black leopard hunting for its prey. His movements were as fast as lightning. Not only that, when he approached Mo Qingyun, his body actually split into three, forming three afterimages. The three afterimages had the same aura, so much so that it was impossible to tell which was the real one. Mo Qingyun, you've forced me to this step. Although you've lost, it's still an honorable defeat. The three afterimages laughed coldly. They raised their hands and grabbed at Mo Qingyun, leaving behind afterimages. Soul Sky Seal, facing He Yang's attack, Mo Qingyun's face was calm. He opened his eyes and looked at He Yang. Then, the three soul battle seals quickly comprehended and attacked He Yang at the speed of a meteor. Faced with the terrifying speed and sudden soul battle seals, He Yang was almost unable to react and was hit directly. After being hit by the soul battle seals, He Yang let out a scream and stopped moving. Following that, the other two phantoms also dissipated, revealing his true body. When He Yang's true body appeared, everyone could see that there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth and his face was pale. Get lost! Mo Qingyun took a step forward. Wind blades appeared around his body and attacked He Yang crazily. Chi. Under the crazy attack of the wind blades, He Yang's body was left with more than 10 wounds in the blink of an eye. At that moment, He Yang's body was also attacked by the wind blades and was sent flying out of the fighting ground. Looking at He Yang, who was lying on the ground and suffering from serious injuries, Mo Qingyun asked coldly, "Do you still want to continue?" Facing Mo Qingyun, who had an arrogant expression and a threatening aura, He Yang suddenly came to a realization, and his expression became blank. He had lost. Moreover, he had lost because Mo Qingyun had allowed him to use both his hands and feet. This kind of result was too big of a blow for He Yang. Chapter 95. I've lost. Seeing that He Yang had admitted defeat, the crowd looked at the young man in the arena with complicated expressions. He did it. Even though he was outclassed by He Yang, he still managed to defeat him. At this moment, Mo Qingyun's image in the crowd's hearts grew significantly. Mo Qingyun wins. The judge announced loudly and announced Mo Qingyun's victory. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun walked to the side of the arena and stopped in front of the Mo family. You brat, how many more secrets are you hiding? Mo Feipeng was overjoyed as he patted Mo Qingyun's shoulder and laughed. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly at Mo Feipeng's question but did not answer directly. Sit down and rest for a while. Mo Hongtian pointed to the seat beside him and smiled with relief. Mo Qingyun's performance had greatly exceeded his expectations. When they saw Mo Qingyun sitting beside Mo Hongtian, the people from the other clans revealed envious expressions. The key to breaking through to the Yuan Dan realm was to comprehend the ultimacy. Now that Mo Qingyun had comprehended the ultimacy, with Mo Qingyun's help, Mo Hongtian's chances of breaking through to the Yuan Dan realm would greatly increase. Mo Hongtian has given birth to a good grandson. At this moment, many family heads sighed in their hearts. Ultimacy. This kid actually did this. We must not let him live. Looking at Mo Qingyun in the Mo family crowd, Song Ziheo's face darkened as he gritted his teeth. He actually defeated Brother Yu Yang. He Lingyu's face was full of shock and disbelief. She knew He Yang's strength very well. He was definitely one of the best among the younger generation of the He family. But even so, he was still defeated by Mo Qingyun in a domineering manner. Furthermore, he was forced to use both his hands and feet. At this moment, while the crowd was still in shock over Mo Qingyun's shocking performance, the next round began. It was a fight between Mo Tsang and Lu Yong. Seeing that his opponent was Lu Yong, Song revealed a disdainful smile. Although Lu Yong was also in the top 10, his strength was not strong. He was only at the first level of the true energy realm. As soon as the match began, Lu Yong summoned his martial soul without hesitation and attacked Song with all his might. Lu Yong's martial spirit was a level 9 martial spirit called the Blazing Rhinoceros. It was one of the more powerful martial spirit. Flaming Bull Charge. The moment Lu Yong made his move, he unleashed his martial soul divine ability. It was as if he was determined to succeed or die trying. As soon as Lu Yong unleashed his martial spirit super ability, 6 flaming bull shadows appeared around him. The 6 flaming bull phantoms charged towards Song with a strong heat wave, as if they were knights charging at the front line. Humph, this level of attack is not enough. Facing Lu Yong's attack, Song smiled disdainfully and raised his hand to blast out a palm. Hell Tiger Devour. Under Song's palm, a terrifying wave of true energy gathered in his hand and formed a black tiger shadow. As soon as the black tiger shadow appeared, it let out a roar and pounced on the flaming bull shadow, frantically devouring it. After a short while, the flaming bull shadow was devoured by the tiger shadow and disappeared in the blink of an eye, turning into a tonic for the tiger shadow. I admit defeat. Seeing this, Lu Yong did not hesitate and jumped out of the arena. His strongest attack had been easily broken by Song. There was no point in continuing. He would only be humiliating himself. Seeing that Lu Yong had taken the initiative to admit defeat, Song proudly raised his head and threw a provocative look at Qingyun. The meaning behind it was obvious. It meant that he, Song, had won even more easily this time. Qingyun did not respond to Song's smugness. He only smiled playfully. After Song and Lu Yong's battle, it was Xian's turn. Xian's luck was not very good. Her opponent was He Xiao. When He Xiao saw that his opponent was Xian, his face darkened. He said coldly, "I hate people who act tough and those who are with them. I don't like that Qingyun from your clan. Therefore, I will not show mercy to the clan. If you want to blame someone, blame it on your clan for having such a pretentious brat. Cut the crap. If you want to fight, just come at me." Hearing He Xiao's pretentious words, Xian's pretty face darkened, and she said unhappily. After saying this, Xian charged towards He Xiao. Her body was like a flaming phoenix as she attacked He Xiao. Insignificant skill. Facing Xian's attack, He Xiao curled his lips in disdain and revealed a cold smile. Mountain Breaking Axe appear. The mountain breaking symbol was a top-grade 10 martial spirit. It was an extremely powerful combat martial spirit. Once the martial spirit appeared, He Xiao's aura instantly soared. He stood there proudly like a giant axe that could split the sky. Mountain Breaking Axe. Seeing that Xian was getting closer, He Xiao revealed a cold smile and immediately used the superpower of his martial spirit on Xian. Then, a huge golden axe materialized in the blink of an eye and chopped down at Xian. Seeing He Xiao's powerful attack, many people couldn't bear to watch. They looked at Xian in the arena with pity. If Xian was hit by He Xiao's attack, she would be bedridden for at least half a year. Hongtian and the others were shocked. They wanted to stop Xian, but it was too late. Bang! Facing He Xiao's attack, Xian did not have any strength to resist. She was hit on the shoulder. Puff! Under the terrifying impact, Xian's body flew out and she spat out a mouthful of blood. Seeing Xian's body fly out, Qingyun moved and raised his hand to catch Xian, preventing her from falling to the ground. However, He Xiao's attack was too powerful and ruthless. After Xian fell into his arms, she fainted. Looking at the pale Xian in Qingyun's arms with blood flowing from the corner of her mouth, the crowd could not bear to see her like this. Mo Xian was such a beauty, yet He Xiao was so heavy-handed. This guy was too ruthless. With He Xiao's cultivation at LV3 genuine energy realm, it would be easy for him to defeat Mo Xian. However, he had summoned his martial spirit and used the superpower of his martial spirit. It was obvious that he had done it on purpose. Without a doubt, he was taking revenge on the Mo clan for what Mo Qingyun had done just now. He intended to cripple and kill Mo Xian. Seeing that Mo Xian had fainted, Mo Hongtian and the others became anxious and angry. Mo Qingyun took out an elixir and fed it to Mo Xian. Then, he asked Mo Xiao to help Mo Xian to the side to rest. After doing all this, Mo Qingyun's expression was cold. He looked at He Xiao and said coldly, "Next, I won't show mercy to the He family and the people related to the He family." Mo Qingyun's tone was as cold as the voice of the underworld. It was chilling. Everyone could hear that Mo Qingyun was furious. After he finished speaking, Mo Qingyun sat back down. His expression was cold as he waited for the next battle. Next was Song Zihao's turn to fight another person. Perhaps it was because he had seen Mo Xian's miserable state, but when he saw that his opponent was Song Zihao, he immediately admitted defeat. The last match was won by a LV2 genuine energy realm cultivator from the Song clan named Song Qingyun. Thus, the top 5 were determined. They were Mo Qingyun, Mo Tsang, Song Qingyun, Song Zihao, and He Xiao. The top 5 were born, and after a short break, the top 5 would fight for ranking. After a while, they drew lots to determine their opponent. Since the 5 of them drew lots, one of them would naturally have a bye. After Mo Qingyun and the other 4 drew lots, the results were as follows. Song Zihao drew a bye. Mo Qingyun would fight against Mo Tsang, and He Xiao would fight against Song Qingyun. Mo Qingyun against Mo Tsang? Seeing this result, everyone was stunned for a moment before a trace of anticipation appeared on their faces. Previously, Great Elder Mokid said that Mo Tsang was the real number 1 junior in the Mo clan, and Mo Qingyun was only the nominal number 1 junior. Now, the nominal number 1 junior in the Mo clan was going to fight the real number 1 junior. This competition was really something to look forward to. Who was the real deal and who was the fake? It seemed like it would be revealed soon. In the arena, Mo Tsang looked at Mo Qingyun coldly and said, "Mo Qingyun, I will let everyone know that I am the real number 1 junior in the Mo clan. I will return the humiliation you gave me 100-fold. One move." In response to Mo Tsang's words, Mo Qingyun looked indifferent and said coldly, "One move?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Mo Tsang's expression froze for a moment. Then, he laughed and said, "It seems that you are quite self-aware. Since you have spoken, I will defeat you in one move." Defeat me in one move? Chapter 96. Nether Tiger Appear. After summoning his Nether Tiger martial soul, Mo Tsang's aura immediately changed. It became stronger and darker. Nether Ghost Sight. Once the martial soul superpower was used, Mo Tsang's eyes flashed with a ghostly light. Then, Mo Tsang's eyes emitted a bewitching blue light that attacked Su Mo's head. Swift Shadow Step. Facing Mo Tsang's martial soul superpower, Mo Qingyun took a step forward and easily dodged the light. Get lost! Then, Mo Qingyun raised his hand and threw a palm at Mo Tsang. It hit Mo Tsang's chest and sent him flying. Puff! After being hit by Mo Qingyun's palm, Mo Tsang immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. His face turned pale and he fell out of the fighting ring. Mo Tsang was defeated in one move. Seeing this result, the crowd was stunned and their eyes widened. At this moment, they finally understood what Mo Qingyun meant by one move. He was saying that he only needed one move to defeat Mo Tsang. The number 1 junior in the Mo family? Mo Qingyun cast a disdainful glance at Mo Tsang and left with a disdainful remark before walking out of the arena. After Emo Qingyun's words, the crowd looked at Emo Tsang with ridicule. Emo Tsang was the number 1 junior in the Emo family? But why was he so weak in front of Emo Qingyun, the number 1 junior in the family? At this moment, a strong sense of mockery filled the air. Of course, while they were mocking Emo Tsang, they were more shocked by Emo Qingyun's strength. Under the mocking gaze of the crowd, Emo Tsang's face turned red and he felt defeated. The gap between him and Emo Qingyun did not seem to have shrunk. Instead, it seemed to have become even larger. With a trace of loneliness, Emo Tsang slowly walked to Mokide's side. Seeing that Emo Tsang was defeated by Emo Qingyun in one move, Mokide had mixed feelings and his mood was extremely complicated. However, if one looked closely, they would see that Mokide's eyes were much colder and there was a trace of killing intent in them. That's right, it was killing intent. Mokide looked at Emo Qingyun with an additional trace of killing intent. However, Mokide was very gloomy and the crowd did not notice it. In the fighting ring, after Emo Qingyun and Emo Tsang's fight ended, it was Song Qingyun and He Zhao's turn. Due to the relationship between the Song family and He Zhao's, He Xiao was not as ruthless as he was towards Emo Xen. Was He Zhao's. After Song He Zhao's Song's He Xiao and He Zhao's and Zhao's. Was He Zhao's Song Xiao. Let's take a short break before the top 3 duels begin. A judge said to Emo Qingyun and the other 2. Just as the judge finished speaking, He Xiao suddenly spoke up. Hearing He Zhao's words, the judge looked at Emo Qingyun and Song Zihao and asked, "What do you think?" From the judge's point of view, since He Xiao did not mind, Emo Qingyun and He Xiao should not mind either. Let's start? Emo Qingyun and Song Zihao nodded and agreed to He Zhao's suggestion. Emo Qingyun stepped forward and arrived at the center of the fighting ring. Seeing Emo Qingyun take the lead, the surrounding people's expressions changed. Was Emo Qingyun going to start the first battle? He Xiao, get up here. Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, Emo Qingyun looked at He Xiao with a cold expression and said coldly. He Xiao smiled coldly when he heard Emo Qingyun's words. He slowly walked to the center of the fighting ring and said, "I didn't expect you to be in such a hurry to throw your life away. That's fine too. Let me finish you off first and then I can fight Brother Zihao to the best of my ability. In that case, I'll have to trouble Brother He Xiao to finish off this troublesome brat." Song Zihao chuckled when he heard He Zhao's words and replied, "Brat, I thought that you would avoid the battle. I didn't expect you to take the initiative to throw your life away." He Xiao looked coldly at Emo Qingyun and laughed coldly. "Do you think that you're a match for me with your level 1 true energy cultivation? Is that so?" Emo Qingyun's aura immediately rose at He Zhao's words. Not long after, Emo Qingyun's aura reached the 2nd level of the true energy realm. Level 2 true energy cultivation. Emo Hongtian and the rest were shocked when they discovered Emo Qingyun's cultivation. His cultivation has also reached level 2 true energy cultivation. Emo Tsang felt a sense of defeat when he discovered Emo Qingyun's cultivation. He did not expect that Emo Qingyun had also reached level 2 true energy cultivation. Level 2 true energy cultivation? He Zhao's expression changed slightly when he felt the change in Emo Qingyun's aura. He said disdainfully, "Do you think that you can threaten me with your level 2 true energy cultivation?" In He Zhao's opinion, whether Emo Qingyun's cultivation was at level 1 or level 2 true energy cultivation, it made no difference. "It's enough to cripple you," Emo Qingyun said coldly. "Humph. You talk big. Brat, I'll let you know how stupid your thinking is." He Zhao's expression darkened as he replied. Swift shadow steps. Emo Qingyun did not waste time talking nonsense with He Xiao. He immediately moved and attacked He Xiao. 9 heavy crash. Emo Qingyun punched out. Instantly, his true energy surged and turned into a few true energy fist shadows that flew towards He Xiao. He Xiao did not dare to hesitate when faced with Emo Qingyun's attack. he immediately retaliated. Mountain-splitting axe appear. Shortly after, a huge golden axe appeared in the air above He Xiao, emitting a terrifying wave of soul power. Mountain-splitting axe. Once he summoned his martial soul, He Xiao immediately used his martial soul super ability. It seemed like he wanted to end the battle quickly. Bang! The fist shadows and axe shadows collided, producing a series of muffled sounds. True energy wreaked havoc and the momentum was overwhelming. At the same time, He Xiao's martial soul super ability was instantly defeated by Mo Qingyun's attack. He Xiao's martial soul super ability was defeated. Everyone's expression changed when they saw this scene. They were shocked. Fire Dragon Seal. However, at that moment, while the crowd was shocked, Mo Qingyun's body moved, and he once again attacked He Xiao. All of a sudden, the 27 genuine Qi battle seals formed a huge shield and crashed down on He Xiao. It was as if Mount Tai was pressing down, trying to suppress and crush everything below. What a terrifying martial skill! Seeing Mo Qingyun's move, everyone's expression changed again. They did not expect Mo Qingyun to have such a terrifying martial skill. Rock-splitting golden axe. Faced with the shield formed by 27 battle seals, He Xiao's expression changed and he quickly blocked it. Under He Xiao's palm, the powerful true Qi burst out from his palm, forming an axe light, which quickly smashed towards the flame shield. However, when the axe radiance came into contact with the flame shield, it was immediately crushed and dissipated into thin air. Bang! After crushing the axe radiance, the flame shield did not slow down and pressed down on He Xiao. Puff! Under the suppression of the flame shield, He Xiao was pressed to the ground and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Stop it, we admit defeat. He Qianxing immediately revealed a panicked expression when he saw this scene, and he hurriedly shouted. However, Mo Qingyun did not care about what He Qianxing said. He moved again and stepped on He Xiao. Crack! 4 crisp sounds of bones breaking could be heard. He Xiao's arms and legs were instantly crippled, and he lay on the ground like a dead dog. Bang! Mo Qingyun kicked again, aiming at He Xiao's dantian, and kicked him out of the fighting arena. He Xiao was crippled. Brat you! Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, the He family was furious and they gritted their teeth. He Xiao was the #1 genius of the He family. How could they not be angry when Mo Qingyun crippled him? However, they could not say anything. After all, He Xiao's actions towards Mo Xian were too much. Right now, Mo Qingyun's actions were nothing more than reciprocity. Chapter 97. This brat. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Mo Hongtian and the others smiled helplessly. This brat really held a grudge. Moreover, Mo Qingyun's way of doing things was still so decisive. Revenge would not be delayed. This was probably what it meant. This brat is so ruthless. Seeing Mo Qingyun's ruthless methods, Mo Tsang's face twitched unconsciously and a chill rose in his heart. At this moment, he couldn't help but rejoice. Luckily, he hadn't touched Mo Qingyun's reverse scale. Otherwise, he would have ended up like He Xiao and become a cripple. Previously, when Mo Qingyun wanted to cripple Mo Qingyun, he didn't think much of it. After all, at that time, Mo Qingyun was just a threat to him. At this moment, he was truly afraid. This was because Mo Qingyun's strength had far surpassed his. Looks like I still underestimated this brat. Mo Qian's face darkened as if he had made up his mind about something. With such a ruthless way of doing things, with such talent, it looks like I can't let him continue to grow. While the people from the Mo clan were shocked, the people around them were also shocked. They had never imagined that Mo Qingyun would actually cripple He Xiao in front of everyone. At this moment, while everyone was shocked by Mo Qingyun's performance, "Master, this old servant has come out." A respectful voice suddenly appeared in Mo Qingyun's mind. This was Qi Lian's voice transmission. Qi Lian. After hearing this voice transmission, Emo Qingyun's expression changed and revealed a trace of joy. Soon, Emo Qingyun saw Qi Lian in a cloak among the crowd. When he saw Qi Lian appear, Emo Qingyun's lips curled into a cold smile as he looked coldly at Song Zihao. Since Qi Lian was here, there was no need for him to hold back anymore. Today was the day he would kill Song Zihao. At this moment, Emo Qingyun looked at Song Zihao as if he was a ferocious tiger hunting its prey. Song Zihao, let's settle this. Emo Qingyun's tone was indifferent as he looked at Song Zihao arrogantly. Song Zihao, why don't you settle this? When Emo Qingyun said this, everyone's expression changed. They didn't understand the meaning of Emo Qingyun's words. However, after being stunned for a moment, everyone understood. Because of He Lingyu. Originally, He Lingyu was Emo Qingyun's fiancée, but now she was with Song Zihao. Emo Qingyun's words to Song Zihao at this moment were understandable. Soon after, everyone revealed curious expressions. They did not know who would emerge victorious in the battle between Emo Qingyun and Song Zihao. End it? Song Zihao smiled disdainfully and slowly walked into the arena. Emo Qingyun, although your performance has surprised me, you are still not my match. Those who have fought with me before have all said the same thing to you. Emo Qingyun replied with indifference. Today, I will make you pay for what you did to me a few months ago. You will never have that chance. Song Zihao once again smiled disdainfully and replied, Emo Qingyun, you are destined to be stepped on by me, Song Zihao, for the rest of your life. Accept your fate. Now, I will let you know how big the gap is between you and me. As soon as Song Zihao finished speaking, he released his aura. Suddenly, a terrifying wave of true qi emanated from his body. 4th level of true qi. Song Zihao's true cultivation had actually reached the 4th level of true qi. Although the difference between the 4th level and the 3rd level of true qi was only 1 level, the difference was enormous. The 3rd level of true qi was the initial level of true qi, while the 4th level of true qi was the middle level of true qi. This was a qualitative breakthrough. Zihao is not bad. Your cultivation has actually broken through to the 4th level of true qi. Seeing Song Zihao's performance, Song Su smiled with satisfaction. Zihao, can you win? Looking at the confrontation between Emo Qingyun and Song Zihao, He Lingyu's expression was complicated. She was at a loss. She had never imagined that the trash she had once disdained would grow to such a level. 4th level of true qi. Seeing Song Zihao's current performance, Emo Hongtian and the rest's expressions changed. They could not help but look worried. Song Zihao's cultivation was at the 4th level of true qi, and his strength was not something that He Shao could compare to. It would be extremely difficult for Emo Qingyun to defeat him. In the battle arena, under the shocked gazes of the crowd, Song Zihao's face was filled with pride as he summoned his martial soul. Chi Chi Chi. As soon as Song Zihao summoned his grade 10 red thunder toad martial soul, it immediately emitted a strong force of thunder and lightning. Emo Qingyun, summon your martial soul. Song Zihao looked at Emo Qingyun with a mocking expression. Then, he pretended to be surprised and said, I almost forgot that your martial soul is only a grade 1 illumination martial soul. Such a trash martial soul seems to be useless even if you summon it. Song Zihao's words were undoubtedly intentional. He was mocking Emo Qingyun's trash martial soul. Is that so? However, Emo Qingyun did not take his words to heart. He smiled playfully and said, Since you all want to know my martial soul so much, I'll show it to you today. Roar. Then, a dragon's roar resounded through the sky. A 20-meter-long red dragon shadow circled above Emo Qingyun. Seeing this scene, everyone was dumbfounded. This is Emo Qingyun's martial soul? This is the rumored grade 1 trash martial soul that Emo Qingyun possesses? At this moment, everyone's hearts were filled with doubt and confusion. After a short moment of being stunned, everyone was shocked in their hearts. They almost didn't dare to believe their eyes. Sky Dragon, the Sky Dragon Martial Soul. Emo Qingyun's martial soul was actually the Sky Dragon Martial Soul. The Sky Dragon Martial Soul was the weakest martial soul, but it had surpassed grade 10 martial souls and reached the level of a superb martial soul. In other words, Emo Qingyun's martial soul was a superb martial soul. A superb martial soul had never appeared in the entire history of the northern desert town. They did not expect Emo Qingyun's martial soul to be so superb. He actually has the Sky Dragon martial soul. A bitter feeling rose in Emo Tsang's heart. At this moment, he suddenly felt that he was like a clown. He, who had a grade 10 martial soul, was showing off in front of Emo Qingyun, who had a superb martial soul. No, impossible. His martial soul can't be the Sky Dragon. Looking at the majestic red dragon shadow above Emo Qingyun, He Lingyu almost lost her mind. She could not believe this result. She actually gave up a genius with a superb martial soul and threw herself into the arms of someone with a grade 10 martial soul. This kid from the Emo clan has hidden his strength well. At this moment, the various clan leaders felt complicated and could not help but sigh in their hearts. At this moment, among the crowd, a red-haired elder wearing a cloak revealed a surprised smile and said, "I didn't expect Master's martial soul to be the top grade 13 Scarlet Flame Dragon martial soul. Master is indeed extraordinary." Clatter. After a short pause, Emo Hongtian was so excited that he lost his grip on the teacup in his hand, and it fell to the ground with a crisp sound. The Sky Dragon martial soul. Emo Hongtian trembled with excitement and tears streamed down his face. He laughed emotionally and said, "Heaven has eyes. Heaven has blessed our Emo clan. I see. Emo Faping was so excited that he clenched his fists. He seemed to have understood something and laughed. So this kid has a superb martial soul. No wonder his cultivation speed is so fast. He's finally not hiding anymore. He's finally showing his true talent." Emo Xiao and Emo Ling, the two women, both revealed brilliant and sweet smiles. At this moment, the low-key young man in their eyes had finally shown his true talent. He wanted to let everyone know that he was a real genius. The geniuses of the various clans in the northern desert town were not worth mentioning in front of him. At this moment, everyone had mixed feelings and sighed in their hearts. None of them had expected that the trash in the northern desert town was the most outstanding genius in the town. Chapter 98. You already knew that Qin Yun has a superb martial soul? Emo Yueru's expression changed when she heard Emo Xiao and Emo Xian's words, and she asked in surprise. Yes. The two girls smiled sweetly and nodded. Emo Ling continued, "Last time in Lianyun City, when my body constitution erupted, it was Qin Yun who used his martial soul to devour the flame energy in my body. He helped me relieve the flame energy in my body." He helped you relieve the flame energy in your body? Emo Yueru was shocked when she heard Emo Ling's words. Her chest heaved and she could not calm down for a long time. She knew Emo Ling's condition very well. For so many years, she had brought Emo Ling to many famous doctors, but she was still helpless. Every time Emo Ling's body constitution erupted, she had to use her mind and energy to suppress the flame energy in Emo Ling's body. However, she was an expert at the true energy realm while Emo Qingyun had just reached the true energy realm. They could not be compared. In the fighting arena. Superb martial soul, I did not expect you to have such talent. Song Zihao was shocked. He looked at Emo Qingyun with a gloomy face and said, "Even so, the gap between our realms is too big. You are still no match for me." Sky Toad Lightning Ray. Song Zihao lay on the ground like a big toad. Lightning flashed on his body and his true energy boiled. Then, Song Zihao opened his mouth and spat out a huge lightning ball. It shot toward Emo Qingyun at an extremely fast speed. Fire Dragon Seal. Facing Song Zihao's attack, Emo Qingyun did not hesitate. He formed a seal with his hands and 27 true energy battle seals immediately appeared. As soon as the 27 genuine energy battle seals were formed, they formed a shield and blocked the huge thunderball. Chi. When the lightning ball and the flame shield came into contact, there was a spark and the sound of electric wires being set on fire could be heard. Swift shadow step. Emo Qingyun's body moved, leaving behind an afterimage. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of Song Zihao. 9 heavy crash. Emo Qingyun punched out, and a series of true chi fist shadows, carrying an unstoppable momentum, attacked Song Zihao. Facing Emo Qingyun's attack, Song Zihao did not dare to be careless and hurriedly made a move to receive it. Thunder Toad Wave stacking palm. Song Zihao's hands blasted out with extreme speed, like the waves of the sea, each wave stronger than the last, blasting towards the fist shadows in front of him. Bang bang bang. For a moment, the shadow of the fist and the shadow of the palm collided. Zhenqi seemed to be constantly colliding, causing the sky to change color. Sky Frog thunderous roar. After blocking Emo Qingyun's attack, Song Zihao didn't dare to hold back anymore and immediately used his martial spirit's ability. A huge thunder child's shadow instantly enveloped his body, exuding the solemnity of a great Buddha. At the same time, a soul-shaking Zen sound came from the mouth of the thunder child's shadow, forming a strange rune that crushed towards Emo Qingyun's head. Sound wave martial spirit divine ability that can damage the soul. Seeing Song Zihao use his martial spirit divine ability, Emo Qingyun's expression changed slightly, and he was a little surprised. Heavenly Soul Seal. Emo Qingyun immediately used the Soul Heaven Seal to protect his soul from being injured when faced with the sound wave runes that were rapidly approaching him. Devour. After doing all this, Emo Qingyun raised his hand and pointed, controlling the flaming scarlet dragon martial spirit to devour the red lightning toad. Roar. With a loud roar, the flaming scarlet dragon martial spirit twisted its dragon body and swooped down on the red lightning toad. In a flash, the flaming scarlet dragon martial spirit arrived in front of the red lightning toad, opened its dragon mouth and swallowed it into its stomach. Puff. With his martial spirit devoured, Song Zihao's mind was injured, and he immediately vomited blood. His face turned pale and was filled with fear. His martial spirit was devoured by Emo Qingyun's flaming scarlet dragon martial spirit. At this moment, the expressions of the other people in the surroundings of the battle arena changed, and they were extremely shocked. How is this possible? Emo Qingyun's martial spirit devoured Song Zihao's martial spirit? What kind of skill is this? How can a martial spirit be used like this? This kid is so strange. We have underestimated him. The outcome of this battle has been decided. For a moment there was a commotion in the surrounding area. This kid, at this moment, apart from Emo Xiao, Emo Hong Tian and the others were all stunned. They were completely stunned on the spot. The strength that Emo Qingyun had displayed had completely exceeded their expectations. They had never seen or heard of such a skill. Blood Chi Rampage. Emo Qingyun did not pay attention to the crowd's shock, and he also used his martial spirit divine ability. As soon as the martial spirit divine ability was used, Emo Qingyun's aura suddenly surged, reaching the level of LV5 True Energy Realm. LV5 True Energy Realm. Sensing the change in his aura, the surrounding people were shocked again, and their faces kept twitching. Emo Qingyun was actually hiding such a skill. Emo Qingyun's true cultivation is at LV5 True Energy Realm. How did he cultivate? He is only 16 or 17 years old. What terrifying talent! This kind of person is destined to be extraordinary. Once they rise, they will be unstoppable. He is the real protagonist of this year's town meeting. Everyone else is just a foil to him, a stepping stone for him. The Emo clan is so lucky to have such a monstrous junior. At this moment, everyone sighed with emotion. 9 heavy crash. After using his martial spirit divine ability, Emo Chingyun directly threw a punch at Song Zihao. His true energy raged, and the shadows of his fists were everywhere. We admit defeat. We admit defeat for this battle. Seeing that Emo Chingyun's cultivation was at LV5 true energy realm, the Song clan members could no longer remain calm, and immediately shouted at the arena. However, Emo Chingyun didn't care about their words at all. He threw a punch without hesitation. Song Zihao, whose martial spirit had been devoured and his mind was injured, could not defend himself in time against this attack. He was hit by the punch. Bang! Under the impact of the violent true energy, Song Zihao was immediately sent flying. He spat out blood and looked dispirited. Swift shadow steps. At this moment, Emo Chingyun's figure moved again. He followed Song Zihao and made a grabbing motion towards Song Zihao. Boy, you are courting death. Seeing Emo Chingyun's action, a LV2 True Energy Realm Elder from the Song clan could no longer remain calm. He raised his hand and threw a punch at Emo Chingyun. Under this punch, his strong origin energy immediately turned into a fighter, grabbing at Emo Chingyun. Soul Sky Seal. Facing this person's attack, Emo Chingyun's face darkened. He immediately cast out 9 Soul Sky Seals and threw them at his opponent's head. Puff! As soon as the Soul Sky Seal was thrown out, it hit his opponent's head in the blink of an eye and severely injured his soul. Ah! With his soul injured, the man immediately groaned. He looked like he was in pain, and blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. At the same time, the origin energy giant palm that he had thrown out weakened and slowly dissipated in the air. After defeating the man from the Song clan, Emo Chingyun did not slow down. He raised his hand and grabbed Song Zihao's throat. Crack! Then, with Emo Chingyun's strength, the crisp sound of bones cracking was heard. Song Zihao's throat was crushed by Emo Chingyun. The number 1 genius of the Song clan, Song Zihao, was dead. After killing Song Zihao, Emo Chingyun threw Song Zihao to the ground like he was throwing garbage. How ruthless! When the crowd saw this, their hearts skipped a beat. They looked at Emo Chingyun with fear in their eyes. However, what shocked them even more was that Emo Chingyun had actually killed Song Zihao in front of a LV2 True Energy Realm expert. Moreover, with just one blow, he had severely injured the LV2 True Energy Realm expert. This kind of ability and means had completely broken everyone's understanding. They found it hard to believe. A person in the True Energy Realm could severely injure a person in the True Energy Realm. This had never happened before. At this moment, the strength that this young man had displayed had completely exceeded everyone's understanding. Boy, you've gone too far. Seeing that Song Zihao was killed, the men from the Song clan went berserk. Their bodies flashed as they attacked Emo Chingyun. Boy, I'm going to kill you! Protect Chingyun. Chapter 99. Once the clansmen from both sides joined the fray, a chaotic battle broke out. While Emo Hongtian fought Song Su, the others also went their own way. They found people with similar cultivations and fought each other. No one had expected such a scene to occur. It came too suddenly. At the same time, some of the weaker clans quickly retreated as they did not want to be involved. A battle of this scale was not something they could take part in. It was better for them to avoid it. As the clans retreated, the battlefield became much more spacious. At this moment, there were only 2 groups of people left in the battlefield. One group was from the He clan while the other group was from the Emo clan's First Elders faction. Seeing that Mokid and the rest did not join forces with Emo Hongtian and the rest to fight against the Song clan, everyone's expressions changed. The expressions of the people at the side immediately became complicated. They seemed to have realized something and started to worry for Emo Hongtian and the others. The Emo clan's overall strength was weaker than the Song clan. Now, Mokid and the rest chose to stand aside. This caused the gap between the Song clan and Emo Hongtian and the Emo clan to widen once again. Soon, Mo Hongtian and the rest were in a passive position, and some of them started to get injured. First Elder, what are you doing? Hurry up and help. Mo Hongtian said angrily when he saw that Mokid and the rest did not join forces to fight against the Song clan. Help! Mokid smiled disdainfully and said, Master, Mo Qingyun has disregarded the clan rules and has no respect for his elders. He is unruly and unruly. Now, he has even killed an outstanding junior of the Song clan. He is a cruel person. In my opinion, it is better to hand him over to the Song clan. Mo Hongtian, in my opinion, Brother Mokid is more reasonable. Hearing Mokid's words, Song Su sneered and said, In my opinion, you should hand over the clan position to Brother Mokid. On account of Brother Mokid, as long as you hand over Mo Qingyun, I can overlook your actions. Humph! Old Ghost Song Su, if you want me to hand over Qingyun, you will have to do it over my dead body. Mo Hongtian said angrily with a grave expression. Haha, Mo Hongtian, do you think I can't do it? Song Su sneered with a smug look on his face. I originally planned to deal with you guys after a few days, but now it seems that the plan has to be carried out ahead of time. As soon as Song Su finished speaking, he looked at He Qianxing and the others and said with a smile, Brother Qianxing, Brother Kueda, don't continue to watch the show. Let's attack together so as to avoid any unexpected troubles. Alright. Hearing Song Su's words, He Qianxing and Mokid both agreed. Then, the He family, Mokid, and the others also joined the circle. However, their targets were still Mo Hongtian and the others. More quid, He Qianxing, you seeing the actions of He Qianxing, Mokid, and the others, Mo Hongtian's face immediately darkened and he became furious. As members of the Mo clan, it was one thing for them to not lend a helping hand, but to think that they would even join forces with the Song and He clan to deal with them. The actions of Mokid and the others were 100 times more despicable than the actions of the Song and He families. With the addition of Mokid and the He family, the situation of Mo Hongtian and the others immediately became even more worrisome. After seeing this scene, the surrounding people could not help but sigh. The situation had developed to such an extent that it was beyond everyone's expectations. Now, it seemed that Mo Hongtian and the others were doomed. They were destined to meet their end here today. Sigh, looking at the current situation, I'm afraid that Mo Hongtian and the others will not be able to turn the situation around. I really did not expect that Mokid and the others would add insult to injury and try to kill Mo Hongtian and the others. What a pity. We just saw the rise of a genius, but he's about to meet his end here. With that little guy's talent, if he doesn't die, he will definitely achieve great things in the future. Since ancient times, how many geniuses have met their end like this? Geniuses still need to grow up. Even so, his name will forever be passed down in northern Desert Town and even in Lianyun City. In an instant, the surrounding families all sighed. He family, Mokid, you guys are great. Seeing that the He family and Mokid were adding insult to injury, Mo Qingyun's face darkened and he said, We, Mo Qingyun, will remember today's grudge. In the future, I will definitely massacre your families. Haha, little brat, do you think that you still have a chance to leave today? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Song Su and the others sneered in response. In their opinion, given the current situation, it was inevitable that Mo Hongtian and the others would meet their end here. If I want to leave, none of you can stop me, Mo Qingyun replied arrogantly. Then, he shouted to the surrounding people, Qi Lian, do it. Yes, master. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qi Lian immediately moved and came to Mo Qingyun's side. His body emitted a demonic blood-red radiance and he said, If you want my master to stay, you have to ask for my permission first. The moment Qi Lian appeared, a terrifying aura was released from his body. So powerful, this person is a half-step to Yuan Dan's stage elite. Feeling the aura from Qi Lian's body, everyone's expression changed and they were shocked. However, what shocked them even more was that this half-step to Yuan Dan stage elite had actually called Mo Qingyun his master. A half-step to Yuan Dan stage elite was a legendary existence in northern desert town. Yet, he was actually Mo Qingyun's servant. At that moment, Mo Qingyun seemed a little more mysterious in the eyes of the crowd. Mo Qid, Song Su, He Qianxing, you guys never thought of this, did you? Ha! Seeing Qi Lian appear, Mo Hong Tian immediately laughed heartily. He was delighted. He smiled at Mo Qingyun and said, "Good lad, I didn't expect you to hide such a move." Mo Hong Tian laughed and requested Qi Lian, "Senior, please take Qingyun away. The Mo family will never forget your kindness today." In Mo Hong Tian's opinion, as long as Mo Qingyun was alive, the Mo family would rise again. If he could exchange his death for Mo Qingyun's life, he would die without regrets. "Patriarch Mo, don't worry. Since I am here, I will naturally take all of you away." Hearing this, Qi Lian waved his hand and replied with a smile. Although people like Mo Hong Tian were like ants in his eyes, he was still Mo Qingyun's grandfather. He still had to give him some face. How many secrets does this lad have? He even managed to trick a half-step to Yuan Dan stage elite. At that moment, Mo Feipeng, Mo Yueru and the rest relaxed and were overjoyed. The addition of a half-step to Yuan Dan stage elite was enough to change the situation and reduce their losses to the minimum. Tricked. Hearing Mo Feipeng's words, Mo Qingyun revealed a bitter smile. Seeing Qi Lian's appearance, the Song family, He family, Mo Qid and the rest hesitated. They all stopped and looked at Qi Lian with some fear. Then, they faced off against Mo Hong Tian and the others. A half-step to Yuan Dan stage elite. None of the three parties could face him head-on. They didn't want to provoke him, as he would kill all three parties regardless of the consequences. "Senior, I don't know what Mo Qingyun gave you, but if you don't interfere, we are willing to pay you 3 times the price." Song Su had a respectful expression as he pleaded. Hearing Song Su's words, Mo Hong Tian and the rest immediately tensed up. They were worried that Qi Lian would be bribed. There was nothing they could do. The price that Song Su and the rest offered was very tempting. "You can't afford to pay me back." Qi Lian was known as the blood-refining demon king, and was a bloodthirsty person. After he spoke, he charged towards Song Su and the rest. "Sir, don't go too far." Seeing Qi Lian charging towards them, Song Su's face immediately darkened. He said coldly, "Although we have to admit that you are very powerful, you can't save the situation by yourself." Qi Lian ignored Song Su's words and raised his hand to attack a LV4 True Energy Realm Elite from the Song family. Puff! Under Qi Lian's powerful attack, the LV4 True Energy Realm Elite from the Song family was crippled in a single blow. "Brother Qianxing, Brother Quide, elders, let's attack together and kill this person." Seeing Qi Lian's terrifying strength, Song Su didn't dare to hesitate and immediately shouted to the crowd. Soon, more than 10 True Energy Realm Elites surrounded Qi Lian and attacked him, greatly reducing the pressure on Mo Hong Tian and the rest. Even so, Qi Lian was still at ease. He even faintly had the upper hand. Such a situation made Song Su and the others feel a heavy feeling in their hearts. They had still underestimated Qi Lian's strength. Although Qi Lian had suppressed the powerful elders from the Song and He families, as well as the Mo family, there were too many people. However, the other party had too many people after all. If this continued, it would be extremely disadvantageous for Mo Qingyun and the others. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun said in a deep voice, "Grandfather, let's retreat." After making this suggestion to Mo Hong Tian, Mo Qingyun said to Qi Lian, "Qi Lian, don't linger on. We will settle today's grudge another day." "Yes, master." After hearing this, Qi Lian immediately replied. Chapter 100. After several hours of fleeing, Mo Qingyun and the rest finally managed to shake off Song Su and the rest. Both sides had suffered heavy losses in the few hours of fleeing and fighting. They had lost many of their clansmen. Mo Hongtian and the rest were also severely injured. Their bodies were covered with hideous wounds. In particular, Second Elder Mo Kueishin had one of his arms chopped off and blood dyed half of his body red. Second Elder Mo Kueishin was the only one who did not rebel among the many elders of the Mo clan. "Master, we can't go back to Northern Desert Town. Where should we go next?" Mo Kueishin asked Mo Hongtian with a solemn expression. Mo Hongtian frowned and looked troubled. He could not decide where to go. If they went to another town, they might be ostracized by the clans in the other towns. They might even hit them when they were down and attack them. However, if they did not go to another town, they would not be able to go back to Northern Desert Town. They would be stranded in the wilderness. "Grandfather, let's go to Lianyun City," Mo Qingyun suggested when Mo Hongtian was in a dilemma. "Lianyun City?" Mo Hongtian was stunned. He nodded and said, "Lianyun City is good too. The clan still has some businesses in Lianyun City. We will have a place to stay." "Yes." Second Elder nodded and said, "So many of us will stay in the Greenwood Trading Company. The living conditions may be tough, but it's better than being stranded in the wilderness." Mo Qingyun smiled when he heard Mo Hongtian and Second Elder's words. "Grandfather, Second Elder, you don't have to worry about this. I have bought a mansion in Lianyun City. You can stay there when you go to Lianyun City." "Mansion?" Mo Qingyun had bought a mansion in Lianyun City. Mo Hongtian and the rest were stunned when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They looked at Mo Qingyun in surprise. According to their understanding, the cheapest mansion in Lianyun City would cost at least a few million gold coins. "How many more secrets are you hiding?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Mo Feipeng laughed out loud as he patted Mo Qingyun's shoulder and said, "That mansion in Lianyun City is worth 2 to 3 million gold coins. Where did you get so much money?" "Uncle, it's not 2 or 3 million, it's 12 million. At this time, Mo Ling and Mo Shao both spoke, correcting Mo Feipeng's words. 12 million. Hearing Mo Shao and Mo Ling's words, everyone was dumbfounded. They opened their mouths wide and couldn't say anything. Even the entire Mo family wouldn't be able to fork out so much money. Is what Shao and Ling are said true? Mo Feipeng swallowed his saliva and asked nervously. Mo Feipeng was not the only one who was nervous. Even Mo Hongtian and the others were nervous. Looking at the expressions of the crowd, Mo Qingyun smiled helplessly and nodded. "It is indeed 12 million. However, I still owe 4 million gold coins." "You still haven't paid the first 4 million gold coins?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's answer, everyone was speechless. They didn't know what to say. Since when was it possible to owe money when buying a mansion? "Uncle, you don't know the situation at that time." Mo Shao added, "That young city lord heard that Qingyun wanted to buy the Azure Jade Mansion, so he asked for 3 million gold coins less." "Young city lord? Asked for 3 million gold coins less?" Mo Qingyun actually knew the young city lord of Lianyun City and seemed to have a good relationship with him. At this time, Mo Feipeng and the others didn't know what to say. Mo Qingyun seemed to be doing well in Lianyun City. After a short period of depression, Mo Feipeng asked again, "I heard that the mansions in Lianyun City are sold directly by the city lord's mansion. They allowed you to owe money and even gave you a discount of 3 million gold coins. Are you close to the city lord's mansion?" "Not bad. I have met the city lord's son a few times." Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and said, "As for why they allowed me to owe money and give me a discount, they must have something to ask of me." "They have something to ask of you?" Mo Feipeng and the others were puzzled. They looked at Mo Qingyun in confusion, waiting for Mo Qingyun's answer. "I'm not sure what it is exactly. I think they will come to me when the time comes." With Mo Qingyun's experience in his previous life, He naturally knew that Wan Yueshuan's actions were a sign that he was trying to hide something. There's no need to think too much about other things. At least for now, it seems that going to Lianyun City is a good choice. After knowing Mo Qingyun's situation in Lianyun City, Mo Hongtian smiled and said with a gratified smile. Hearing this, everyone nodded their heads and the worry on their faces lessened. From the looks of it, with Mo Qingyun's connections in Lianyun City, it was indeed a good choice for the Mo clan to go to Lianyun City. Everyone, take a rest first. We will continue our journey and try to reach Lianyun City before the sky turns dark. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly at the crowd as she instructed. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Mo Hongtian and the others did not say anything else and began to recover and adjust their breathing. Lianyun City, Shui Clan. You bunch of trash, haven't you found young Master Shui yet? In the Shui Clan's meeting hall, a middle-aged man with a gloomy face shouted at the crowd below. This man was the Shui Clan's master, Shui Zhenyang. He was the #1 expert in the Shui Clan with a cultivation of level 4 Yuan Dan realm. Master, according to the investigation, young Master Shui Ming left Lianyun City a few days ago and has not returned since. At this moment, a guard reported. Left Lianyun City? The Shui Clan's master frowned and asked coldly, Did you find out why young Master Shui Ming left Lianyun City? We don't know yet. However, I heard that it has something to do with young Master Dan, Mo Qingyun, another guard replied. Young Master Dan? Is it because of that kid? The Shui family head pondered for a moment before instructing his subordinates, continue the investigation immediately. Also, investigate the origins of this young Master Alchemy, Mo Qingyun. Yes, Master. Hearing Shui Zhenyang's words, the guards immediately responded and hurriedly left the hall. Elders, what do you think about this? After instructing the guards, Shui Zhenyang asked the elders beside him, Do you think the Alchemist Union is behind Ming Er's disappearance? It's hard to say for now. Let's wait and see. It won't be too late to make a conclusion after the investigation is out. One of the elders suggested. Yes, Elder Yuanqing is right. Another elder nodded and said, however, that kid Mo Qingyun has to be eliminated sooner or later. Otherwise, he might be a scourge to Shao Er. Yes, that kid is extremely talented in alchemy. He's deeply loved by Du Luo and the other elders. It's indeed troublesome to keep him around. Shui Zhenyang's face darkened and nodded, expressing his agreement to the elder's words. At this moment, while Shui Zhenyang and the others were talking. Chapter 101. After a few hours, Mo Qingyun and the others arrived outside Lianyun City. Outside the city gate, some passers-by revealed expressions of disdain when they saw the ragged clothes of the Mo clan. There are all kinds of people these days. Even beggars want to enter Lianyun City. At this moment, a young man in luxurious clothes looked at Mo Qingyun and the others with disdain. Young Master Li Yi, we've made a fool of ourselves. Hearing the young man's words, a city guard immediately smiled and said, We naturally won't let this group of beggars enter the city. After replying to the young man in fine clothes, the city guard arrived in front of Mo Qingyun and shouted, All of you, scram immediately. Don't be an eyesore here. Otherwise I'll break all your legs. Beggars? Catch them and beat them up in the city prison? Hearing this person's words, Mo Qingyun's face sank. He said to Qi Lian, who was beside him, Qi Lian, break his legs for me. Yes, master. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qi Lian nodded and directly attacked that person. Crack! Under Qi Lian's attack, the city guard didn't even have time to resist and his legs were immediately broken. Hiss! After seeing this scene, everyone's expression changed. They looked at Mo Qingyun with reverence. This guy was so domineering. He even dared to break the city lord's mansion's guard's legs without saying a word. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, the surrounding people who didn't have any background all had a change in expression. They revealed a strong sense of reverence. In their opinion, someone who dared to do such a thing was either a fool or had a great background. However, no matter what kind of person it was, they couldn't easily provoke him. Qingyun, nothing will happen, right? Seeing Emo Qingyun's domineering actions, the Emo clanspeople at the side all revealed worried expressions. As the saying goes, there are 7 ranks in front of the Prime Minister's mansion. No matter what, these guards were from the City Lord's mansion. Emo Qingyun had directly crippled the other party's legs because of a disagreement. If the City Lord's mansion were to blame him, it would be difficult to explain. "Grandpa, don't worry. It's just a small city guard," Emo Qingyun replied indifferently. He led everyone into the city and said to everyone, "Let's go in." Seeing Emo Qingyun's actions, the corner of Li Yi's mouth curled up as he sneered. "Arrogant brat, you actually dare to injure the city guards. Looks like you really don't know what's good for you." Scram! Hearing Li Yi's words, Emo Qingyun's face darkened and he shouted coldly. After saying that, Emo Qingyun led the group into the city. He didn't want to waste time talking nonsense with Li Yi. Emo Qingyun thought to himself. Although he brought everyone to Lianyun City, he didn't know if the matter of him killing Xue Ming had been exposed. If he were to be exposed and spend too much time here, the people from the Xue clan might rush over and cause a lot of trouble. Therefore, he wanted to enter the city as soon as possible and return to the Azure Jade Mansion. Once he returned to the Azure Jade Mansion, the Alchemist Alliance would be able to rush over to help if there was any trouble. Seeing Emo Qingyun's attitude, Li Yi's face darkened as he replied, "Brat, don't be so smug. Let's see how you're going to explain yourself after injuring the city guard." However, considering Emo Qingyun's previous actions, Li Yi didn't dare to make a move against Emo Qingyun. If Emo Qingyun was a rash person and let Qi Lian make a move against him, he and his guards wouldn't be able to stop it. What's the commotion? What happened? At this moment, a group of city guards walked into the city. The leader of the group asked with a solemn face. Seeing the arrival of the city guards, Li Yi immediately went up to them and sneered. "Captain Han, this is what happened. This brat brought a group of beggars into the city. Just now, the city guard scolded him and he attacked him. This kind of person can't be tolerated." After speaking, Li Yi's face was filled with pride as he looked at Emo Qingyun with schadenfreude. He was waiting for Emo Qingyun to be punished. "How dare you attack the city guards? It seems like you're tired of living." Hearing Li Yi's words, Captain Han immediately roared and was about to attack Emo Qingyun and the others. However, when he saw Emo Qingyun's appearance, his face twitched and cold sweat appeared on his forehead. He couldn't say the rest of his words. It was actually this young master. This time, he was showing off too much. This was the youngest alchemy genius in Lianyun City. The Alchemist Alliance's 2 founding elders and president had high hopes for him. Not only that, but City Lord Wan Lianyun had also named him as someone to be protected. At this moment, he actually wanted to attack Emo Qingyun. Wasn't this the same as carrying a lantern into a latrine pit? Was he courting death? Seeing Captain Han's expression, Emo Qingyun knew that Captain Han had recognized him. Shortly after, he revealed a faint smile and asked, "You want to attack us?" This, Captain Han's face was filled with fear as he stammered, Young Master Dan, you're a great person. I was blind for a moment and didn't recognize you. Please don't take offense." Young Master Dan. He was the young Master Dan of the Alchemist Alliance, Emo Qingyun. Hearing how Captain Han addressed Emo Qingyun, the surrounding people's expressions changed again. They looked at Emo Qingyun with even more reverence. Not only them, but even Li Yi's face turned pale and his lips trembled. He had no choice but to be afraid. The Li family and the Jiang family were similar in strength. Because Jiang Cheng was disrespectful to Emo Qingyun, he was directly crippled by Emo Qingyun and expelled from the Jiang family. If Emo Qingyun wanted to deal with him, he was afraid that his ending wouldn't be much better than Jiang Cheng's. Young Master Dan, I'm sorry. I must have been blind just now. I didn't recognize you. Please give me a chance to change my ways. Li Yi's face was filled with fear as he begged Emo Qingyun. Didn't you say that I'm a beggar? That I'm courting death? Glancing at Li Yi, Emo Qingyun sneered and asked. I'm a beggar. I'm courting death. My mouth is cheap. I deserve to be beaten. After saying this, Li Yi knelt on the ground and slapped his own mouth. Seeing this scene, the people of the Emo family were completely dumbfounded. They felt that it was unreal. They originally thought that since Emo Qingyun could afford a mansion in Lianyun City, he should be doing well. However, they would never have thought that Emo Qingyun would be doing so well. This young man in luxurious clothes obviously had a strong background in Lianyun City. Even so, after knowing Emo Qingyun's identity, he was still so frightened that he knelt on the ground and slapped his own mouth. From this, it could be seen that Emo Qingyun was doing really well in Lianyun City. This lad's prestige in Lianyun City seems to be greater than our Emo family in Beima Town. Emo Hongtian and the others smiled bitterly and couldn't help but sigh. Their Emo family had been operating in Beima Town for hundreds of years, but Emo Qingyun had only been in Lianyun City for a few months. The difference was really huge. Oh, is that so? Seeing Li Yi's actions, Emo Qingyun smiled playfully and said, Now tell me, can beggars enter the city? Beggars can't enter the city. I'll get lost now. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Li Yi immediately stood up and ran towards Lianyun City. Seeing Li Yi's actions, Emo Qingyun ignored him. He smiled faintly at Emo Hongtian and the others, who were still in a daze, and said, Grandfather, second elder, let's enter the city. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Emo Hongtian was shocked. He nodded and followed Emo Qingyun into the city. Now that they knew Emo Qingyun's identity, they automatically made way for Emo Qingyun. Young Master Dan, take care. Seeing Emo Qingyun enter the city, Team Leader Han immediately smiled apologetically and bowed to Emo Qingyun. Chapter 102. After a while, Emo Qingyun and the rest arrived at the Azure Jade Mansion. Looking at the majestic Azure Jade Mansion, everyone from the Emo family was stunned. It felt so surreal. Although they had heard from Emo Qingyun that he had spent 12 million gold coins to buy a mansion in Lianyun City, they were still shocked. Now that they saw it with their own eyes, they could not help but be shocked. This mansion was too big, too luxurious, and too spectacular. Qingyun, this mansion was bought by you? Emo Faping and the rest swallowed their saliva as they panted and asked excitedly. Yes, let's go in. Emo Qingyun smiled faintly at everyone's reaction and led them into the Azure Jade Mansion. After entering the Azure Jade Mansion, Emo Qingyun gathered the servants and introduced them to the Emo family. After doing all this, Emo Qingyun had a discussion with Emo Hongtian and the others. He handed over the matters of the Azure Jade Mansion to them. Emo Qingyun believed that with Emo Hongtian and the rest taking care of the Azure Jade Mansion, everything would be in order. Furthermore, with the arrival of the Emo family, the Azure Jade Mansion, which was originally quiet, became much livelier. Emo Qingyun was very happy to see such a scene. After handing over everything, Emo Qingyun returned to his residence and began cultivating in seclusion. He felt that his cultivation was still too weak. With his current strength, he would not be able to deal with the Shui family's revenge. Even dealing with the Song and He family of Beima Town, as well as Mokid and the rest would be difficult. Inside the house, Emo Qingyun took out various herbs and spiritual herbs and prepared to refine pills to increase his cultivation. Now that he had obtained many spiritual herbs from Qilian, he would not have a problem obtaining cultivation resources in the short term. Golden Jade Grass, Flaming Frost Moon Fruit, Scorpion King Grass, 1000 Copper Sound Grass, in an instant, all kinds of spiritual herbs were arranged in an orderly manner in front of Mo Qingyun. Seeing that all the required spiritual herbs had been taken out, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and began to concoct pills. After taking out the scarlet flame cauldron, Mo Qingyun inserted a wisp of martial spirit fire into it and threw in the various herbs one after another. Then, Mo Qingyun began to change his hand gestures continuously, displaying one alchemy technique after another. Now that Mo Qingyun's soul strength had increased greatly, his control over the flame had also become stronger, making it easier for him to purify it. About an hour later, all of the medicinal ingredients were purified, and they entered the process of fusing and forming the pill. A quarter of an hour later, a burst of pill fragrance wafted from the pill cauldron. The pill was completed. 11 treasure energy pills, high 5th grade. Looking at the pill inside the pill cauldron, Mo Qingyun revealed a satisfied smile and raised his hand to take out the pill. With these 11 treasure chi pills, his cultivation would definitely soar in a short period of time. Immediately, Mo Qingyun put away the scarlet flame cauldron and began to consume the treasure energy pills to cultivate. As soon as the treasure energy pill entered his mouth, it dissolved into a stream of pure elemental medicine and flowed into Mo Qingyun's meridians. Feeling the elemental medicine flowing through his meridians, Mo Qingyun immediately refined it, transforming it into true qi that circulated within his body. One day later, the elemental medicine from one treasure energy pill had been completely refined by Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun's cultivation had risen from the early stage of the second level of the true energy realm to the peak of the middle stage of the second level of the true energy realm. Seeing such a harvest, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and consumed another treasure energy pill to refine and cultivate. 3 days later, 4 treasure energy pills had been refined. Mo Qingyun's cultivation had successfully broken through to the third level of the true energy realm. 10 days later, all 11 treasure energy pills had been refined by Mo Qingyun. At this moment, Mo Qingyun's body once again surged, successfully breaking through to the 4th level of the true energy realm. 4th level of the true energy realm. A bright smile appeared on Mo Qingyun's lips. He was quite satisfied with the harvest of this closed-door cultivation. Now that my cultivation has improved, it's time to improve my martial skills. Thinking of this, Mo Qingyun immediately began to cultivate his martial skills. 3 days later, Mo Qingyun had cultivated the 9-stage crash, the Fire Dragon Seal, and the Soul Heaven Seal. After these 3 days of cultivation, these martial skills had improved correspondingly. His comprehension of the 9-stage crash had reached the level of the essence. His comprehension of the Fire Dragon Seal had reached the level of greater mastery. Even his comprehension of the Soul Heaven Seal had reached the level of lesser mastery. The number of soul battle seals he had condensed had reached 18. As for the swift shadow steps, Mo Qingyun did not continue to cultivate it. After all, if he wanted to improve his comprehension of the swift shadow steps, he had to improve his comprehension of the profound meaning of wind. This was not something that the current Mo Qingyun could easily achieve. After improving his strength in all aspects, Mo Qingyun had a feeling that if he met Protector Jiang again, he would be able to fight him even if he did not use his martial soul's ability. However, after cultivating these martial skills, Mo Qingyun also felt that he was lacking. Although my martial skills have reached the level of greater mastery and greater mastery, their attacks are still a little weak. Mo Qingyun furrowed his brows as he pondered in his heart. He was considering whether or not he should cultivate another offensive martial skill. After pondering for a while, Mo Qingyun made a decision in his heart. His eyes lit up as he said, "The martial skill that Protector Jiang used before, the sun-incinerating mountain-splitting saber, is quite powerful. I can cultivate it." Thinking of this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He immediately opened Protector Zhang's Qiankuan bag and took out the sun-incinerating mountain-splitting saber. Soul fluctuation? When Mo Qingyun took out the sun-incinerating mountain-splitting saber, he sensed a soul fluctuation coming from Protector Zhang's Qiankuan bag. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun began to sense the Qiankuan bag, looking for the item that was emitting the soul fluctuation. After sensing for a while, Mo Qingyun found the item that was emitting the soul fluctuation. It was a tattered beast skin painting scroll. This beast skin painting scroll was a map that recorded the location of a sect called the Burning Heaven Clan's ruins. Protector Zhang's martial skill, sun-incinerating mountain-splitting saber, was obtained from these ruins. In addition, Mo Qingyun was pleasantly surprised that the Burning Heaven Clan's ruins were not very far from Lianyun City. The Burning Sun Clan's ruins. Mo Qingyun's eyes lit up, revealing a trace of pleasant surprise. He thought to himself, now that my cultivation has broken through, I need to temper myself. This Burning Heaven Clan's ruins are quite a good place. After thinking like this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and made a decision in his heart. After familiarizing himself with the sun-incinerating mountain-splitting saber, he set off for the Burning Heaven Clan's ruins. Soon after, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and began to practice the sun-incinerating mountain-splitting saber. After looking at it for a while, Mo Qingyun unexpectedly discovered that the sun-incinerating mountain-splitting saber in his hands was actually a tattered manual. At this moment, the manual in his hands was only the upper half. The lower half was still in the Burning Heaven Clan's ruins. The complete version of the sun-incinerating mountain-splitting saber was actually a heaven-rank martial skill. In that case, I must go to the Burning Heaven Clan's ruins. Mo Qingyun faintly smiled and walked out of the room. He arrived at the small courtyard and began to practice the sun-incinerating mountain-splitting saber. One day later, in the small courtyard, Mo Qingyun clasped his hands together and turned them into a palm blade. He raised his hand and chopped down. Suddenly, a terrifying true qi condensed into a 3-meter-long flaming saber image and chopped down. Boom! Under this saber image, a stone stool that was half a person's height in the small courtyard was directly chopped in half. After a day of practice, he had finally cultivated the sun-incinerating mountain-splitting saber to the beginner level and was barely able to use it. What a powerful attack! It's only at the beginner level, but it's comparable to the 9-stage crash of the quintessential level. Looking at the power of the sun-incinerating mountain-splitting saber, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with joy and satisfaction. Qingyun, this is bad. At this moment, just as Mo Qingyun was about to continue practicing, Mo Xin came to his courtyard with a panicked expression. Seeing Mo Xin's expression, Mo Qingyun frowned and asked, "Sister Mo Xin, what's wrong?" "Fourth uncle, something happened." Mo Xin's eyes were a little red and her voice was a little choked. "Let's go." Chapter 103. At Mo Feilin's residence. It didn't take long for Mo Qingyun and his companion to arrive. When they arrived at Mo Feilin's residence, Mo Qingyun pushed the crowd aside and walked to the bed. Mo Feilin's face was pale and he was lying on the bed weakly. There were wounds all over his body that exposed his bones. Qilian was sitting beside Mo Feilin and he was using his yuan force to heal Mo Feilin's wounds. When Mo Qingyun saw Qilian healing Mo Feilin's wounds, he looked much better. With Qilian's help, Mo Feilin's injuries should not be a problem. After Qilian healed Mo Feilin's wounds, he would refine a cauldron of elixirs for Mo Qingyun to recover. "Grandpa, who did it?" Mo Qingyun looked at Mo Hongtian and asked coldly. "I don't know yet. The person who sent Feilin back said that if you want to know who did it, you can go to the city governor's mansion." Mo Hongtian said solemnly. "Could it be the Shui family?" At this moment, Mo Qingyun frowned and guessed. Just as Mo Qingyun was making guesses, Mo Hongtian, who was at the side, added, "Furthermore, the people from the city lord's residence said that the northern desert town's elders faction has already been exterminated. The culprit is the same person who injured Feilin. The elder's family in Baima town has been killed?" Hearing this result, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with shock. After a short moment of shock, Mo Qingyun was more certain of his guess. He thought to himself, "It seems that the fact that I killed Xue Ming has been exposed. Otherwise, the Xue family would not have done this to the Mo family." At this moment, Mo Qingyun was glad that he had brought Mo Hongtian and the rest to Lianyun City. Otherwise, Mo Hongtian and the rest would be in trouble if they stayed in Baima town and faced the Xue family's revenge. In this way, his heart would be left with great regret. When he thought of this, Mo Qingyun's face turned cold. He clenched his fists and made up his mind, "Xue family, I will remember this. I will kill your entire family in the future. I have to thank the city governor's mansion this time. If not for them, fourth uncle would have been in deep trouble." Mo Qingyun was silent. "It seems that I have to find time to thank them at the city governor's mansion." No matter what the city lord's mansion's motives were for helping him, Mo Qingyun would still remember the city lord's mansion's kindness. At this moment, Mo Hongtian looked troubled. "Qingyun, Grandpa has a request." "What is it? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?" "Grandfather hopes that you will find the culprits in the future and kill them all. Although Mokid and the others have committed treacherous acts, they are still the descendants of the Mo family." Mo Hongtian's eyes turned red as he said furiously. Mo Qingyun nodded and replied, "Grandfather, don't worry. None of them will be able to escape." He could understand Mo Hongtian's thoughts. Although Mo Hongtian and the rest had committed treacherous acts, as the Mo family head, Mo Hongtian could not just stand by and watch his family members get killed. After a while, Qi Lian stopped what he was doing and came to Mo Qingyun. "Young master, the fourth young master of the Fei Lin family's injuries have stabilized." "Yes, thank you." Mo Qingyun looked at Qi Lian gratefully and said, "Come with me to the city governor's mansion. This is what I should do." Qi Lian waved his hand. Soon after, Mo Qingyun left some instructions to Mo Hongtian before he left the Azure Jade Mansion and headed to the city governor's estate. When Mo Qingyun walked out of the Blue Jade Mansion, he saw many city guards standing guard outside. At that moment, the city guards were no longer hiding in the shadows like before. Instead, they were openly guarding the city. After seeing these city guards, Mo Qingyun felt a trace of gratitude in his heart. He did not have any dealings with the city governor's mansion. It was rare for them to help him like this. Especially now that the Mo family was facing its most difficult time, the city governor's mansion lending a helping hand was like sending charcoal in the snow. The Blue Jade Mansion was not far from the city governor's mansion. Mo Qingyun and Qi Lian soon arrived at the city governor's mansion. Mo Qingyun is here to pay a visit to City Governor Wan. Mo Qingyun introduced himself when he arrived at the city governor's mansion. "Young Master Dan, please." Hearing Mo Qingyun's self-introduction, the guard immediately became respectful. He led the way and said, "Before you came, the city lord told me that as long as young Master Dan is with you, I will bring you to the back garden to see the city lord." Mo Qingyun and Qi Lian soon arrived at the back garden under the guard's lead. A middle-aged man with a pale face and purple lips was sitting in the back garden. A handsome young man was sitting next to the middle-aged man. It was Wan Yuexian. Mo Qingyun quickly guessed the middle-aged man's identity when he saw the two of them. He should be the city governor of Lianyun City, Wan Lianyun. Junior Mo Qingyun greets City Governor Wan. He walked up to the middle-aged man and bowed. "Young Master Dan, there's no need to be so polite." Wan Lianyun chuckled when he saw this. He pointed to a stone stool and said, "Please take a seat." Emo Qinyun and Qi Lian sat down. Thank you, City Governor Wan, for your help in the matter of the Shui family attacking the Emo family. After sitting down, Emo Qinyun did not beat around the bush, and thanked Wan Lianyun directly. It's just a small matter. Young Master Dan, you don't have to take it to heart. Wan Lianyun waved his hand and smiled indifferently. It may be a small matter to you, City Governor, but it's an extremely important matter to me. Emo Qinyun said with a serious face, if it wasn't for the city governor's mansion, a very important clansman to me would have died in the hands of the Shui family. You already know that it was done by the Shui family? Wan Lianyun said in surprise. The Shui family should have done this because they know that I killed Shui Ming. Emo Qinyun replied indifferently. He continued, City Governor Wan, if I'm not wrong, you helped me because of the poison in your body, right? Haha, young Master Dan is extremely intelligent. I can't hide anything from you. When Wan Lianyun heard this, his expression immediately changed. He thought to himself, it seems like I underestimated this young Master Dan. This person's intelligence is terrifying. The Shui family will have a headache from now on since they offended him. I think that aside from the poison in your body, there's nothing else that you need my help with. Emo Qinyun laughed. Wan Lianyun was slightly stunned. He then smiled and said, since young Master Dan has seen through it, I won't hide it from you. The reason why I helped you was because I wanted to form a good relationship with you. I hope that when you become a rank 3 alchemist in the future, you can take a look at my poison and see if you can cure it. Seeing that Wan Lianyun did not hide his thoughts, Emo Qinyun had a good impression of him. Shortly after, Emo Qinyun said calmly, I can cure your poison. Really? When they heard Emo Qinyun's words, Wan Yuexian and Wan Lianyun were both excited and surprised. Yes. Emo Qinyun nodded and said, the poison in your body is the shadowless silkworm origin powder. It's a formless poison. When you're poisoned, the yuan energy in your body will be eaten away bit by bit until you become a cripple. This poison is only effective on those below the Pill Palace realm. You actually know so much about the poison in my body. When he heard Emo Qinyun explain the poison in detail, Wan Lianyun was immediately shocked. He was extremely excited. If it's convenient for City Lord Wan, I can remove the poison for you now. Emo Qinyun asked. Convenient, too convenient. When Wan Lianyun heard this, his face was filled with excitement and his body trembled slightly. Shortly after, Emo Qinyun removed the poison in Wan Lianyun's body. He held the silver needles in his hand and quickly inserted them into Wan Lianyun's body. After a while, drops of black blood flowed down the silver needles and dripped onto the ground. As the black blood flowed out, Wan Lianyun's aura gradually recovered. A moment later, Emo Qinyun pulled out the silver needles and said to Wan Lianyun, City Lord Wan, the poison in your body has accumulated for too long. You need to perform acupuncture a few more times. In 2 months, I will come again to perform acupuncture on you. Thank you, young Master Dan. Yuexian will send you off. Wan Lianyun thanked Emo Qinyun and said to Wan Yuexian. Chapter 104. After returning to Bu Mansion, Emo Qinyun went into seclusion to refine elixirs to treat Emo Feilin's injuries. A day later, he finished refining the elixirs. Emo Qinyun took the elixirs and went to Emo Feilin's residence. Emo Feilin had already woken up. When he saw Emo Qinyun, Emo Feilin smiled and said, You little monkey, why didn't you tell us earlier that you have a superb martial soul? You hid it from us for so long. Emo Qinyun smiled faintly when he heard this. He handed the refined pill to Emo Feilin and said, Fourth uncle, this is the pill I refined for you. Take it and your injuries should be healed. Emo Qinyun knows how to refine elixirs? When Emo Hongtian and the others saw Emo Qinyun take out the elixirs, their expressions changed and they looked at Emo Qinyun in shock. Mo Feilin smiled helplessly when he saw the expressions of Mo Hongtian and the others. He said, "Father, you don't know this, but Qin Yun is the disciple of the Alchemist Alliance Guild's president and 2 founding elders. He is also the #1 alchemist in Lianyun City." What? When Mo Hongtian and the others heard Mo Feilin's words, their expressions changed and they smiled happily. The heavens are protecting our Mo family. Haha, no wonder everyone called Qin Yun Young Master Elixir when we entered the city. Mo Yueru and the others were enlightened. They understood the origin of Mo Qingyun's name. After chatting for a while, Mo Hongtian asked, "Qingyun, do you know who killed Morquide and the others, as well as the person who hurt your 4th uncle?" Mo Qingyun said in a deep voice, "I know. It's the Shui family." The Shui family. When Mo Feilin heard Mo Qingyun's words, his expression changed and he looked worried. Is the Shui family very powerful? Mo Hongtian and the others asked nervously when they heard Mo Feilin's words. Yes. Mo Feilin nodded and said, "The Shui family is ranked in the top 20 in Lianyun City." This, after learning about the Shui family's strength, the expressions of Mo Hongtian and the others immediately changed. They were at a loss. Lianyun City was not like Beima Town. Even the weakest person here was much stronger than the Mo clan. To be able to rank in the top 20 in Lianyun City, where fishes and dragons were mixed together, how powerful would they be? "Grandpa, you don't have to worry. I have my ways to deal with the Shui family." Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and comforted Mo Hongtian and the others. After that, Mo Qingyun, Mo Hongtian, and the rest chatted for a while before they left Mo Feilin's room. After that, Mo Qingyun and Qi Lian left the Azure Jade Mansion and headed to the Burning Sky Sect's remnant. "Young lord, we're being followed." After leaving Lianyun City, Qi Lian's expression changed as he reminded Mo Qingyun. "A cultivator of the Yuan Dan realm. The Shui family really thinks highly of me." Mo Qingyun sneered and said to Qi Lian, "Ignore them. Let's continue forward." Then, Mo Qingyun and Qi Lian continued forward, pretending that they did not notice the person behind them. "We're already far away from Lianyun City. If we take action here, we don't have to worry about the City Lord Mansion." After a few minutes, the person saw that they were far away from Lianyun City and sneered, "Kid, you don't have to run anymore." Hearing the other party's words, Mo Qingyun and Qi Lian stopped and turned to look at the other party. "The Shui family really thinks highly of me. They actually sent a cultivator of the Yuan Dan realm to assassinate me." Mo Qingyun curled his lips and looked at the other party with disdain. "The #1 alchemy genius of Lianyun City and possesses a superb martial spirit. Of course, we have to be careful." The person smiled coldly and said, "I, Shuelvi, have been in Lianyun City for decades and have never killed a genius like you. You seem to be too confident in yourself. Do you think that you can kill us?" The corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up as he smiled playfully. "Haha, you're indeed arrogant and ignorant." Shuelvi laughed and said, "Do you think that you, a LV4 true Qi realm cultivator and a half-step Yuan Dan cultivator, have a chance to survive in front of me? If you were a LV2 Yuan Dan cultivator, you might be able to say that. But you're only a LV1 Yuan Dan cultivator. You're not qualified to say that." Mo Qingyun looked at the other party with disdain and said to Qi Lian, "Qi Lian, attack. Light Gate Martial Spirit, appear." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he summoned his Light Gate Martial Spirit. Then, an ancient aura was emitted from the Light Gate Martial Spirit. What kind of martial spirit is this? Seeing the white Light Gate Martial Spirit above Mo Qingyun's body, Shuelvi and Qi Lian's expressions changed and they were shocked. "Master, you actually have twin martial spirits." Qi Lian was shocked. Even with his previous life's experience, it was rare to see twin martial spirit. "Kid, I really didn't expect you to have twin martial spirits." After a short moment of shock, Shuelvi's face darkened and he sneered, However, this makes me want to kill you even more. Killing a genius with twin martial spirits is a rare opportunity. Seal Gate Seal. At this moment, while Xue Lv's face was filled with pride, Mo Qingyun directly displayed his martial spirit super ability. Then, a mini light gate directly blasted into Xue Lv's body. Yuan Dan LV1 Late Stage. Yuan Dan LV1 Early Stage, Half-Step Yuan Dan Realm. As soon as the mini light gate entered Xue Lv's body, his cultivation rapidly weakened. How is this possible? Your martial spirit super ability can seal the power of the bloodline. Xue Lv's expression finally changed when he felt that the bloodline in his body was greatly suppressed and sealed. What a powerful martial spirit super ability! After seeing this scene, Qi Lian's face immediately twitched and his heart was filled with shock. After a short moment of shock, Qi Lian sneered and said, Yuan Dan LV1. After refining you, this old man's cultivation will be restored to the Yuan Dan realm. It has been a long time since I met such a tonic like you. Blood mist filled the air. Qi Lian's figure moved and a scarlet blood mist appeared around his body, wrapping him in the middle. As Qi Lian approached, Xue Lv was immediately enveloped in the blood mist. Under the cover of the blood mist, Xue Lv immediately felt that the blood in his body seemed to be sucked out of his body and dissolved into the blood mist. After realizing this, Xue Lv's expression immediately changed and he looked at Qi Lian with fear in his eyes. Bloodthirsty Ghost / Qi Lian's palm struck down and the scarlet origin energy turned into a ghost face, trying to devour Xue Lv. Looking at the ghost face that was rapidly approaching, Xue Lv's face turned pale and fear rose in his heart. He had never thought that with his Yuan Dan realm cultivation, chasing after Mo Qingyun and Li Wuyo would end up in such a situation. Although he was panicking, Xue Lv was an Yuan Dan realm expert after all. He quickly suppressed the panic in his heart and counterattacked. Sun Shadow Thunderblast, Xue Lv struck out with his palm and a bright light appeared on his palms, as if they were scorching suns. Outside the dazzling light, there were also arcs of lightning that formed a thunder sunlight shield and faced the ghost face with origin energy. Cheese. When the thunder sunlight shield collided with the ghost face with origin energy, sparks flew in all directions and origin energy surged. Soul Sky Seal Mo Qingyun attacked again. He directly sent out 18 Soul Battle Seals and bombarded Xue Lv. Then, the 18 Soul Battle Seals were like meteors as they rapidly bombarded Xue Lv's mind. After being attacked by the 18 Soul Battle Seals, Xue Lv's soul was instantly injured and he let out a miserable cry. In a battle between experts, victory or defeat was decided by half a move. Seeing that Xue Lv was distracted, Qi Lian immediately seized the opportunity and struck out with his palm. Blood-devouring demonic palm, Qi Lian's palm strike was extremely decisive as it landed on Xue Lv's head and shattered his head. At the same time, Qi Lian's blood essence was also extracted from Xue Lv's body. It turned into a ball of blood and was collected by Qi Lian. Let's go! Seeing that Xue Lv was killed by Qi Lian, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and left after instructing Qi Lian. Mo Qingyun was worried that the Xue family still had a backup plan and had sent someone else. Therefore, in order to avoid unnecessary trouble, it was better for them to leave as soon as possible. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Qi Lian did not hesitate and quickly followed. After a while, Mo Qingyun and Li Wuyo stopped and arrived at a secluded forest. Go and refine the blood essence, Mo Qingyun said to Qi Lian. He had a good understanding of Qi Lian's cultivation technique. Qi Lian's cultivation technique allowed him to quickly raise his cultivation by devouring the blood essence of others. For this reason, Qi Lian had killed countless people in his previous life. It was also because of this that he was chased by many forces. Thank you, young lord. Seeing that Emo Qingyun allowed him to devour Shui Lv's blood essence, Qilian's face was immediately filled with joy. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.